Cause you know, like you can like epigenetics or any type of like genetic transfiguration or transformation. That would be considered shapeshifting. So
yeah, living in shapeshifting.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So why do people like look at shapeshifting as if it's some type of like woo type of thing, like mystical?
Because you have to take into account the reptilian wave,
Right?
With David Icke and the rest of the people, and how everybody was saying that the reptilian. Remember the YouTube videos where a lot of the people's TikTok, Instagram, all the stuff they talking about now. Right. That was the 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 wave of exposing the Illuminati. Right, so you go and watch them videos. A lot of people binge watch them videos as younger people, and they were seeing with the pyramid with the eye on it. They were seeing where they got the news reporter and the eye do a little flickering thing, or the tongue do a little flickering thing, and they were saying that those were the reptilians. You see, that shapeshift when their form is jeopardized, whether it be because of the environment or the climate at the time, or pressure or stress or a glitch in the system, their form is jeopardized and exposed, and you can see who they really are up under the skin. You see what I'm explaining to you? So that's where that category of shapeshifting come from when they start speaking about draconians and all of that. Anytime people talk about draconians, the truth of the matter is Draco is a star system. You see what I'm saying? It's not like some neighborhood where everybody look the same. If there are beings who come from Draco, you read the Holy Tablets and you'll see that the draconian princess was a melanin dominant woman with woolly hair. You see what I'm explaining to you? Not some lizard looking person. You with me? Remember I did the class of You Are All Reptilians. Yeah. You know, everybody throw around the reptilian word, but reptilian means that you have characteristics like a what?
Reptile.
A reptile. And tell me one person that you know, one human being that you know that doesn't share something in common with reptilians or reptiles, as they call them. You see what I'm saying? You have inward organs operating, so do reptiles. You see, some people have scaly skin or dry skin, so do reptiles. You see? It depends on who you're speaking to. Some people may look at it as this is one race of people or one race of beings that all look like this and act like this and do this thing. But in all actuality, it's encompassing the whole human race. It's encompassing all these other different living organisms. And then they speak about it as characteristics, not a race. Reptilian isn't a race. It's a characteristic. Amphibian isn't a race. It's a characteristic. Mammalian isn't a race. It's a characteristic. Are you like a mammal in any way? You see, in what ways are you like mammals? A lot of people say, I got webs between my fingers, I'm like a reptile. But what you really mean to say is you're like an amphibian. You see what I'm explaining to you? Those that are categorized in that type of characteristic scale. Right. You see, like the frogs and the rest of that. Okay, so that's not a reptile family. You see, so many things need to be updated for what people believed in it around the time, especially when Dr. Malachi was speaking. A lot of people believed in a lot of vain and broad things. He had to speak about all of those, but then he tried to give them the names of things. He tried to give them how they can get in communication with certain beings and stuff like that. They didn't want to do it for themselves, so they wanted to keep believing in what the masses were pushing. Yeah. So when you say a shapeshifter, you're speaking about human beings. They are shapeshifters, and most living organisms do shift their shape in order to live. Right. You see, take a deep breath. You just shifted your shape. Like how you see the puff fish, the blow up fish they talk about. Okay, doesn't it shift its shape? Anybody and anything that breathes shifts its shape. When you eat, you shift your shape. You see what I'm saying? And when you die, when you decompose, you'll shift your shape. Right. That make sense?
Totally. Yes. Yeah. So, is there different? Okay. You said that right. Is there beings that actually do the shape-shifting thing as far as what people, like how you just explained back in the day, people who used to watch videos and see, like, let's say the newscaster eye shape shift and, you know what I'm saying, to a reptilian eye and all that type of thing. Like, do those actually exist? And are those beings real? And do they cloak or camouflage amongst us?
From what I know, yes.
Okay.
You won't know it though from what my knowledge is. Absolutely. But it's just they're categorizing it as reptilian. Remember you went back to that word.
How come you won't know it?
Because you haven't had the experience. You haven't met one? You ever encountered one?
I don't think so.
I have. All through my life. You see what I'm saying? But that's more so biology and technology.
Yeah.
They have the ability to cloak themselves or appear human. You see?
So
and it's only a split instance if they want you to see that you will be able to see who or what is up under the bodysuit.
So what would be the, okay, is it more so biological or more so technological?
It depends on the race of beings.
Okay.
Okay, so look at it like this. Human beings have the ability to go into water with their own biology, not the technology part. They go into water. You don't need a submarine. Okay, you within yourself are a submarine.
Right.
Okay, except you don't have the mechanism as the fish does to be able to extract the oxygen from the water, which is still packed in. You have hydrogen 1, oxygen, or hydrogen 2, oxygen 1. Okay, what they call dihydrogen monoxide. The oxygen is still present in the water, but human beings don't have the ability to extract it, right, to be able to pump it through their lungs, which is why you would need gills, which is a mechanism to be able to do that. But
Right.
the submarine has a system in it where the oxygen is able to be circulated. You see what I'm explaining to you? Operated as a whale would or a fish would. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So that'd be a technological type of fish, a submarine, not a biological type of fish. You are a biological type of submarine, not a technological type of submarine.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Even the scuba divers, they have limitation. When they pack that oxygen on themselves, after that oxygen runs out, their body doesn't kick into technology mode. So if we're talking about humans, go ahead.
So there are beings that, and I don't want to get too.
You can't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So there are.
Now, I didn't mean no disrespect by that. I
No,
mean, like,
that was
there's
good.
no two. We can get into all of it.
This is what I'm saying. I don't want to be like on a it go way and start floating somewhere.
I'll pull it back.
So yeah,
If
so,
it- you know,
All
right.
right. So it's beings that are biologically able to shapeshift, and there are beings that have the technology to shapeshift and cloak themselves and
Yes.
things like that. Okay, I see.
You remember the Harry Potter movie?
I never watched it.
Okay, that's crazy. But like the Harry Potter movie, not crazy that you ain't watched it. Like most people I've met
Watch.
have seen it at least.
Yeah.
You don't remember the invisibility cloak?
Oh yeah, I know that.
Okay, so you know what it
I'm
is,
familiar
where they put it on and they disappear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the chameleon has that built in biologically.
Right.
And certain spiders and like the octopus, you have an octopus that has the ability to do it also, where they can cloak themselves by blending into their environment.
Right.
Those are biological triggers that say, okay, based off of this, maybe I'm threatened, maybe I need to cloak myself, or maybe I'm waiting for my prey. You see what I'm explaining to you?
Right.
Let me go ahead and blend in or camouflage myself, and I become invisible, right? Now, the invisibility aspect of it, or the quantum stealth aspect of it, human beings have already figured out. They won't really talk about it publicly yet, but the military has certain quantum stealth technology that they speak about on certain forums that they test out. And if you know anything about how technology works, especially with human beings in this plane, they're years ahead of what they'll tell you.
Right.
You see what I'm explaining to you? So they know how to make the light perception of you
And being around.
bend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is the light perception of them. Because any information is getting to you, the electrical impulses that are registering in your brain, as soon as it goes through that sensory input compartment of the visuals, right? Your visual sensory input compartment, it registers as an image.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a reflection of the angle that you perceive, and that's why optical illusions work. Because wherever you are and you're perceiving that as reality, you'll accept that it's true. You see? So if you were to walk around or journey behind the technology, you'll still see the person standing there.
Right.
They're not really invisible. They didn't vanish. You see what I'm explaining to you? What they're doing is they're bending what you see. And that's the type of technology they have. Okay, chameleons do that. But now human beings can do it using technology. Harry Potter was able to do it using a blanket, which is technology. A blanket can be technology because it's something that's used to help make a job easier for you.
Right.
You see what I'm explaining to you?
Okay.
So it again, not only does it depend on who or what you're dealing with or what you're speaking about, human beings have biology and technology that can activate at certain times to be able to do certain things.
Right.
But they have to be able to distinguish between the two and see why you would need technology to be able to even still survive some of the harsher climates of today, because you're not evolving to be able to withstand it.
Right.
Which means nature has really selected human beings to be off the planet
Damn, that's
a long
crazy.
time ago, but it's technology that's keeping human beings here.
Damn. Okay.
But that's a part of human beings' nature.
Yeah.
To have the frontal lobe activated to be able to think and discern and figure these things out and calculate and come up with more advanced technology as time goes, which means they're still writing themselves out, because what they're going to have to evolve into is technology. This is why AI is stepping in and the quantum computer is advancing every day. because what they're planning on doing is integrating human beings into technology. That way, that's going to be part of what the mark is. All this stuff that people talk about mark or the genetic markers, all of that, they're going to be hooking up that same mainframe to a mainframe, right? Where biology goes into technology and you become superhuman, beyond what a human would have been prior to that integration of technology.
So it's two type of bioengineering taking place.
It's bioengineering, but at the same time, when we speak about the integration, they're taking it to a level beyond what people have been speaking about prior to, but they hit it in the movies, right? Where they're going quantum.
Okay.
You see? So what? Okay, give me an example of something being bioengineered.
Like food.
Okay.
In the sense of, like, you know, you have canned goods and they have, let's say chickpeas in there.
Okay, how do they do it?
I don't know.
Even if you don't know how to do it, what's the main concept?
To
take something and replicate how it works.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And then you go beyond that, which is the quantum side of it. This is why when people talk about spirituality, what they're really speaking about is the quantum world. The spirit world is the quantum world. And quantum goes into the most basic, discrete unit that you have the ability to access or know about. But human beings don't have quantum access based off of their own body, their own mainframe. They don't have quantum access without technology.
Right.
The technology advances, and then what they can know about the quantum realm advances. That's where you get quantum mechanics and the quantum computer.
Yeah.
So it goes beyond just the bioengineering of the light that they're seeing. You go beyond the bio of that which allows for the atoms to even exist. This is where you get into the theory of everything, string theory, all of that. They're going beyond that because you're going to have to not just interweave what's living with what's supposed to be machine. You're going to have to find out how that machine can be the same type of product as the life being was. It makes sense, meaning, okay, like I explained about in one of my books, I think it was Is the Computer Guide, where they were talking about the xenobots from the University of Vermont. Remember I told you about the xenobots? They were able to take cardiac stem cells from the xenofrog in Africa and cause it to be able to reproduce itself in a small platter or a dish, and they were going around creating generations by using the material of the environment around them, right? That's what human beings do.
Right.
Human beings take in material. If I drink this water, that's me taking in material, me taking in an element, and because of that, if I eat food, all of that, I'll be able to reproduce by creating what?
Life.
Sperm.
Yeah.
Which comes from all of the things that I'm taking in. You see what I'm saying? Everything that we're taking in, it allows us to continue to breathe. Which is why if you don't take water, you become dehydrated. You need those elements still.
Okay.
If you become dehydrated, you become a dead ass. If you're dead ass, you can't reproduce. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that every human being can reproduce. It just means that you have the mainframe to be able to. So if I create or produce or form, like they say in Hebrew, bara, if I form something that replicates the science of the mainframe, it has to work and operate how that mainframe does.
Exactly.
So I'm not just engineering this technology to be like the life thing. I'm engineering the technology to be able to produce as the life being produced, to be the product of life as that life being is the product of. So it will need to eventually be able to what? Reproduce.
Yeah.
So we ain't talking about just making chickpeas. We're talking about making chickpeas that have the ability to seed themselves into the ground.
Right. Okay.
And continue on. We going way beyond GMO.
Okay, I got
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I didn't want to confuse you, but take it all around the world.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
Okay, so damn. Alright, so this is what I was asking when I said, so you got two bioengineering, I would say experiments, but I just say events taking place, because you got them doing it in that way as far as technologically doing it, and you have as what Malachi has taught, beings that are selecting people and supposedly bioengineering them to be to reproduce in the next generation. So it's two.
It could be more than that. There's no telling what's happening here.
Right.
Yeah. But the truth. Okay, so let me ask you this question: can metal reproduce?
I don't know.
Metal cannot reproduce. Metal is produced from the earth, but metal doesn't reproduce.
Okay.
It's not even living or conscious to do that.
Okay.
Should explain to you. So we're not talking about machines, as in the robots that they show us in the movies. We're talking about it could be you.
Right.
You know, you walking amongst somebody and it could be a literal, what you call bioengineered or a quantum bioengineered being. Okay. To the point where by 2060 they say it's going to happen anyway, where you won't be able to tell the difference between 2060. This is what they're saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In their scientific community, that by the year 2060 or 6060, according to what the doctrine will line up, that they'll have a full and complete human being that will be made after the image and after the likeness of, or in the image and after the likeness of, like Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, that human being.
Right.
You see, so they'll be able to reproduce. They'll have the built-in. It's not that hard to fathom though, because as long as you can 3D print a heart and 3D print all the rest of the organs, like I said, including the skin, which is the largest organ according to what they say, right? You'll be able to reproduce or create another being or clone that being. And then that being will just need to be able to have all of the things built in, right? From the glands that secrete to be able to reproduce and send out them seminal fluids, the vaginal fluids for the being to be able to travel through with a copy of itself, and it needs to know how to make that copy. So when that copy is being made, it has to go back to beyond just the sperm itself. What is the sperm fueled by that allows it to move? Yeah. What does the sperm actually eat and live off of prior to its emission and integration into the egg? You see? And then that which the sperm eats or takes in as a system of what do you call it, elements. What are those elements fueled by? And then whatever fuels those elements, what are those elements fueled by? That's where you go on quantum. Right. You realize the sperm cell that you can't even see has an entire body that's working and it's conscious enough to know where it needs to go. Okay. And it has that much of a lifespan, but it's long enough that you were able to get here.
Right.
Which means you knew where you were going.
Right.
Ultimately, before you knew what knowing was.
Okay, I got a question. So,
go ahead.
How I was just saying it's like two events of bioengineering, and you said it's maybe more. I really just want to speak about those two though.
Okay.
Right. Do they correspond in any type of way?
What human beings are doing and what the extraterrestrials may be doing?
So.
Okay, you notice I said may be doing?
Right.
Because do you know whether or not anybody is actually taking you and activating your genes or splicing you in any way?
No.
You don't know it. You know, you might have some type of feeling or inclination that you're being watched. Because you are, but the truth is, before you know a thing, you can only have the belief of it or the knowledge that you can have the access to the knowledge of that thing to know it. Yeah. That doesn't mean you know it. So there's a possibility that they are, because one may be attempting to build a super race of beings to be able to survive or go to war with whoever this extraterrestrial race of beings would be, or to be able to survive whatever comes to the plane that they're seeing may happen around the year 2029, 2030, 2032. That something may happen that causes a shift in how life will be able to exist in the earth plane. Right. You see what I'm saying? So they may be gearing up for that, which is not just doomsday or doomsday bunkers. Now they need to have a being that can survive it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying to you? What happens after the apocalyptic things, or the post-apocalyptic world of oblivion? Who can survive that? That's where you see a lot of those cyborg movies. You look out at the cities and the buildings be destroyed. And you see what I'm saying? So all of this is still hypothetical. I don't know. I have no idea because I'm not on those teams right now. I'm right here on the ground. Right. So whatever they're doing, they'll have the knowledge of that. The best ones to ask will be the reptilian motorzaku. Right. I'm not one of those beings on that craft that could tell you that answer. What I can say is the inward decision, right, to make the shifts and changing could be being spawned by or encouraged by those who are overseeing. So when you get those inclinations to do a thing, it may be them sending you a message to do it. Right. That's a possibility. That don't mean believe what I said. It means just know that it's possible. So if you're trying to figure out why you really want to do this, but now you can't do it anymore, something could have been shifted. You see, because of how your genes express will determine who and what you are and what you do. Right. So if there is a genetic alteration project that's taking place on the quantum level, you won't know it or even feel it all the time when it's taking place. You might go to rest and then wake up feeling weird because you could have been taken from your being or taken from your place, your room. and put back, and nobody would know what happened, right? But now, because you went into that dormant state and you were sedated, and they were able to do that, then when you come back, you have a whole different outlook on life, and something's changing. Something could happen on a genetic level. Right. Now, with what they're doing out there, it's like, what would you do? It would be based on whatever your project would be. Like a parent. If you have children, you're going to raise them to benefit whatever your program is, most parents. You see what I'm saying? If we say lights off at 7 p.m., lights off at 7 p.m. And people get into the mode of lights off at 7 p.m. But I want you to be a God-fearing Christian boy or girl, and you're my child. I'm going to make sure I'm seeding that into you. You see what I'm explaining to you? So that when you grow up, you go out here and you say, I'm a Christian. Most people are Christians don't even know that the only reason why you're Christian is because somebody told you you were going to go to hell. Right. If you stole a cookie. You see what I'm saying? Because of that same trauma of that fear that somebody told you, you don't even know whether or not your parents lied to you, because they don't know whether or not their parents lied to them, parents lied to them, parents lied to them, or their slave master lied to them and said X, Y, Z, and told them things that weren't even in the book. You see what I'm explaining to you? Mm-hmm. There's no telling. But the point is, that's a part of their program. So the leaders of this world may have a program, and they're rearing up people to benefit that. And those who are outsiders or overseers or watchers may have a program rearing people for that. The war, you know what I'm saying, that's taking place. If we're in the planet Earth, which is a body, a being, then are we not a part of the jihad of Earth, Ardadu, Tiamat?
No, I never thought about it.
Nobody did.
I never thought
I just did right now. So we are the system of jihad that the planet is going through.
Right.
They're going to take that and run with it now. Yeah. But that's always what we come through with new things, and then it's like everybody's, we don't mind inspiring. You see what I'm saying? So, isn't that true though? You have thoughts inside of you where you have the cherub and or the cherubim or the cherubim and the seraphim, or the Sadhu 5 and the Garubat. Okay, these beings are supposed to be like your disagreeable and agreeable aspects of yourself. Right? Okay, if we have disagreeable people on the planet causing the planet to be ailed and sick and inflamed, are they any different than the chemical messengers inside of you? That once you get some of it, the brain wants more and more and more, like the dopamine. You see? Are they any different? So then they're the chemical messengers or the angels, because the chemical messengers saying chem, which is dark. All right? Mm-hmm. Messengers, angelos, malaki, malak, dark angels. And these dark angels that be falling in is going around reaping havoc on the body or the planet. You see that? Uh-huh. So there's a war taking, and we're a part of that. So we are the jihad. And you have a jihad inside also. And each and every one of these groups of beings that are on one side or the other are pulling for their program. So if you're a parasite in the body, you don't care whether or not the house is affected or the host. You don't care. All you want is what you want. Right. So when you're leeching off of the planet and you're taking all of her oil, the resources, you're throwing off the water cycle, you're doing all this stuff, throwing your chemicals in the air, does that tell me that you're an agreeable or disagreeable? Disagreeable. You see? So you got disagreeable messengers, angels, beings, humans that are a part of one side of the jihad of the planet. And then she's having to decide whether or not she's going to wipe out that group or wipe out the agreeable group while trying to wipe out that group to sacrifice herself. You see? It's simple. It's similar to what you're going through. Right. You see? That's why you go through fasting. When you go through fasting, you're rebalancing yourself. Storms may occur, hurricanes, earthquakes. Mm-hmm. You fast. Right. You see what I'm saying? You're not feeding, so the crops aren't growing. We're having a drought. She's fasting. You see that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Did that answer your question, though?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. What will be the lifespan of those beings?
What beings? Who?
Technologically, bioengineering.
Oh, ain't no telling.
Right.
Ain't no telling because you're not dealing with telomeres anymore.
Right.
Or if you are, they've lengthened them. You know, you can lengthen telomeres or you can shorten them. Yeah. My spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is but what? Flesh. Well, you're not. Well, I get what you're on point though. Yeah. You're not wrong. He is but flesh. His days, his years shall be 120. Uh-huh. You see? But that wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning, you had people like Adam living to be what? 930 years old. Yeah. You see? and then the spirit was no longer able to. So this meaning, let me say it scientifically, the genes that you had at that point in time, which would have allowed for Adam to live this long,
They've been altered.
they were altered,
Right.
or spliced, and that's what some of them say. It's a head-to-head fusion that took place for human beings to even be who and what they are now, from the Homo erectus to the evolving or the baby group of beings called Homo sapiens.
Are the telomeres? What are the telomeres? Like
Telomeres are like markers that say how long you'll be able to live as a being.
are
Naturally.
in the DNA.
It's not just in the DNA, it's all throughout the body. But Tawa linked into the DNA.
Right. Okay.
Tawa. So it's affected by certain things that you're doing. So you'll pass that information on genetically.
So, for instance, okay, say when I had to think about what you just said.
Tawa.
Like, for instance, say when Seth was born, his
Seth, as in Cain, Abel, and Seth.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, when Seth was born, his genetics. Hold on, I can't recall. Didn't it start with Seth? Like the 120 thing?
Well, I don't know if it started with Seth. What I do know is that according to what the biblical scriptures were speaking about, that Cain, Abel, and Seth, actually that was Cain, Abel. No, okay, I get it. So that was Cain, that was Ham, Jacob. That's a whole other story.
Okay,
I'm going into another story. So I don't know if the 120 started with Seth. I'm not the one to answer that. What I can say, a lot of people do focus on just the Cain and Abel story.
Right.
So you could be onto something where it wasn't something that we paid attention to. But I don't know. Maybe it's something you can find out.
I think it did.
Okay.
From like hotels, I think that's what.
Okay.
Because Seth had a son named Enos.
Okay.
So, am I correct? Or
I don't know.
I think that's what it is, and
Okay.
I think it was from.
If you're going up, okay, so I was saying,
Yeah.
because those who were referred to as the Enocytes,
Yeah.
or you say Enos, the Enocytes, were those who had fallen,
Right.
and they became other forgetful ones. So it could have, I don't remember that, so I ain't gonna make up shit. And we call it moosing. You start making up shit. I don't remember. But if it is that, it would make sense to me, because you have those who remember Zacharias, and then you have the Enocytes who forgot. They became like an insan in the Quran, those who fell as human beings.
Okay, so. Okay. All right, so boom. So what I was going to ask was if the 120 years started from Seth's gene, then where did the other gene go?
Which
Like-
other gene? Meaning those who would have been more
Yeah.
advanced and living longer.
Yeah, because
It will be amongst those of Adam's children that are named.
damn, okay.
You have
See,
Adam
'cause
has
it's-
daughters
Yeah, it's
and sons that aren't named.
Yeah,
And then you have groups of beings that are outside of just the Garden of Delight, Eden,
yeah,
all
right.
right, or Edenu, and you have those who were in the land of Nur, okay, who existed, and they might have been living longer, and no telling. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause there's not much story about their genetic makeup. Even though you read the Book of Giants, it might tell you a little more about them type of beings who were Nephilim, as they call it, or Nephilim, the fallen ones who descended, or Avatar, into the earth plane, according to what Dr. Melchizedek was speaking about in Mission Earth and the extraterrestrial involvement. He explained that those who were called the Avatar at that time were the 200 fallen angels.
And wasn't those the Hindus?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So okay.
And that was, he spoke about that too, explained it too.
Right. That's in the Missionary Scroll?
Yep.
Okay, alright, cool.
I think that's on page 73.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hold on. You got these beings, right?
Talk.
That and it ain't like literally one line of beings or two generations, like how they say the serpent seed against the Eve seed.
Yeah.
They have MC between each other. It ain't like it's just two generations or genes fighting each other. It seems like it's multiple genetics having a hand in what this story is.
Everybody's fighting for survival.
Right.
Yeah. And even still, if we go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, where you speak about the woman's seed and the serpent seed, if you subscribe to the Bible, you will be thinking that the serpent seed is the evil seed, and the woman's seed will be the virtuous seed.
Right.
So you have nefarious versus the virtuous ones. But then you'll have teachings by Dr. Malachi York explaining about Ningishzida.
Right.
And Ningishzida is someone who was aligned with the serpent. He's going to explain to you as the serpent with wisdom, the one who would have given them that information and say, listen, even God knows that on the day that you eat thereof, your eyes will be open.
Right.
You will know this, that, and the third, and you have the knowledge to make one wise, pleasurable to the sight, all of these things, and you'll know the difference between good and evil. And he didn't lie to them. So that devil was not a liar. Right. He might have been an op to whoever was running that program, but he didn't lie. Because the moment they ate of the fruit, they were able to have, so he told them the truth. And they didn't die in that day, Yom.
Right.
You see, that 12-hour period, they didn't die. They still lived on. You see, they say, oh, it's a spiritual death. I said, it doesn't say spiritual death. Or the way we're using the word, it's saying to actually die. You see what I'm saying? So if people were to continue to live after that point, even if you want to highlight it as a spiritual death, he didn't die in that day. Right. Now, it was not a certain death either, as I've told y'all before, because they could have gone on and what? Eating of the tree of life.
Oh, yeah.
But they were removed from the garden. Right. So the fruit didn't kill them. Whoever took them and put them out of the garden killed them.
Oh.
Because they didn't allow them to finish their initiation and go through because they violated whatever they said to do. No, they didn't die because of the fruit. They died because God said, now the man has become like one of us. Right. And they didn't want to have another race of beings who were causing bloodshed and corruption in the earth. So they put them out. Right, to go out there and be amongst those who also failed. It's like you got a group of beings who could have been in that garden that were passed on into the land of Nod because you didn't listen. Right. Imagine how many times they would have ran that test. You see what I'm saying? To see who will go to the tree. It's not a tree. What they're trying to see is, will human beings become overrun by the need for pleasure?
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
And if they do, they already know, you're going to fall. Yeah. You're going to die. Meaning, you're going to transgress. You've already missed the mark. So your transgression from then on is a depletion in the genes. Because the more you think about pleasure, the less you're thinking about longevity. How many people get with somebody and they only think about pleasure right then? They're not thinking about a long-term anything. Children, reproduction, building a village. They only think about that one night. They call it a one-night stand. Right. And then they go off into the world and share DNA. And they, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to make fun of the people who might live that lifestyle. I'm just saying that's a real quick way to see whether or not human beings are going progressive or they're going regressive. Right. Because the point of existence is what?
Progression.
Survival.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, too.
You see? Not everybody has the point of existence as progression. Okay. Some people don't care. But the point of existing is to survive. Right. And a part of survival is reproduction. That's when you stop thinking about just yourself and you start thinking about humanity as a whole. Right. But most people just think about themselves. Say, I'm just going to have fun and then I'm going to die. You see? Sure. They're regressing. But why? Because it's just about pleasure. And a part of that that's kind of screwed up, interestingly enough, is that a part of the reproduction involves pleasure. Right. You see that? But it's also something that if you know what it is that you're dealing with, the pleasure aspect is the reward for reproduction. It's not the reward for not reproducing. Be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So people are going around being fruitful without the multiplication. They're regressing. Or they're going away and wandering off from the path. Right? So as you're surviving, as you're reproducing, the masters are coming in and giving you things that are going to take you to progress. You see? But people ain't going to reach that level. As a whole, you ain't just know one person right here. As a whole, they won't reach it because it's all about pleasure. So you look around in this realm, you think, are they thinking more about pleasure or are they thinking more about the future? Right. More about the pleasure. And then you have the few people that sit at the top of the pyramid, okay, which is enough percentage-wise, that will think about the future. And they look weird to everybody else because the lifestyle they're living is resource-based. They don't care nothing about money, none of this makeshift, superficial things. You see? True. All right, go ahead. But just to be clear, one thing, there are a lot of different bloodlines, and that's a story. Right. Don't get wrapped up too much in the story.
That's why
there's a reality taking place all around you and inwardly that story is speaking about.
Right.
You see?
Too. That's why I'm gonna ask. Why are these stories told in a way to where it could take away from, not necessarily take away from, okay, you know how you was explaining when we was by the river,
Mm-hmm.
how the stories were more decorative and creative,
Mm-hmm.
and those type of things, and we lost what it was actually saying in a sense. Well, you didn't say that, I don't think, but we lost what it was actually saying and presenting to us, type of thing.
Okay.
Why not just tell it straight out in the sense of let me say more so as animism type of thing. You know, like instead of saying the tree of knowledge, why not just be like, okay, like pleasure, you know what I'm saying, this what it is, this and that and third, and just have it like that. Is it because it's easier to compact when you put it in a book or you put in a scripture like that, to say it like that?
It could be for a bunch of reasons. It could be because of mistranslations, misinterpretations, misinterpolations. It could be somebody putting the sacreds in the words,
Right.
so that generations later you'll be able to take out of the parable what's actually been expressed. Or they could have been saying it straight out in the language they were using at that time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when people say, man, I'm deep, what they mean?
Like I'm through. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but beat has many different words, many different meanings for it. You see what I'm explaining to you?
Yeah.
They say, I'm up. Say, I'm up now. What they mean?
I'm awake.
But also could mean you got a lot of money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So 1,000 years from now, they might be like, why didn't you just say it straight out?
Right.
We did. But you didn't know what the hell we were talking about, so now you're mad at us. It's just, but because of that, societally, a lot of things don't, some things will stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Up and down are going to stay the same, societally, for the most part.
Right.
Negative, positive, dark, light, you know, good, evil, that stays the same. So you look at something you know is bad, okay, on a moral compass spectrum, most of the time people can lean toward what is right and lean toward what is wrong to be able to understand which is which.
Right.
So if you're saying the devil, it could be the robber that's coming through your back door.
Mm-hmm.
You could just call him the devil.
Right.
So a lot of it, the decorative language they was using is universal.
Yeah.
You see?
Cool.
You want to know the honest to God truth?
Yeah.
I don't know, 'cause I wasn't there.
Right.
You know, they could have made it all up.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But I can have a great idea about it because when you read these stories, I said, oh, that has something to do with my life. They could have just been a great writer. You know what I'm saying? They could have calculated how to make a book that's so generalized and still aligned with historical events and explanations that were lined and laced with theocracy, that when everybody grab it, they feel like this must be God.
Right.
I can do that.
Right.
Because you got the mentality, the mindset to be able to do it. You see what I'm explaining to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also have to have some type of scholarship. You also have to have some type of degree of education to be able to know what places, mark what time period, and da-da-da. So sure, a lot of archaeology went into making that book. Make sense what I'm saying?
Too.
Yeah. So it could have been a whole myriad, a plethora of reasons to why that language was like that. I don't know for sure. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I just wasn't there. I didn't write it. Not that I remember.
Do you think there will be a new book?
There is a new book. Holy Tablets.
I'm saying like in the sense of something that will deceive people.
Yeah, sure, of course. That one did.
Right.
Because the moment I open up, this is deception. You said in the beginning.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Because if I ask you explain how that's the beginning,
right.
You can't. So you start off lying to me. Then you say in the beginning as opposed to in beginning. Okay? Or if I speak Hebrew, or Ibri, I'll say better sheaf. Okay?
Sure.
Or in the house that started at the top when the destruction occurred. That's what you're really saying. Better sheep. Bet, resh, sheen. And then you say tav, which would be a mark.
Sure.
You see what I'm explaining to you? So you're marking where there was a home, something set up, an abode, after some type of destruction had already took place.
Right.
According to the language. You could tell me one thing with your word of English, but Hebrew, as I was explaining to you, has letters, characteristics, that symbols were written behind them to have a meaning. So when I first opened up the book, you're telling me something already didn't happen.
Right.
But you're starting me here saying this is the beginning.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're like, we start the movie Matrix at him on the cross with the light beaming out of himself. What? He said, in the beginning. How do we get here?
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
So it start offline. They can't debate that. They go, tell me what happened before that part. There's nothing happened. How you know? You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So the beginning starts off deceiving. And then it can be deceptive if you're telling one lineage of a story.
Right.
Like that's how life works.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's just one lineage they're talking about. Everybody else that exists beyond Jacob and them, they just didn't have no story. Jacob, the only one, was just reproducing. He got 12 sons. They become the 12 tribes. That may happen in somebody's bloodline, in their genealogy, but there are all these other stories about all these other groups of beings and people who have their own stories, and you want me to follow this one, you go through the genealogy, you're talking about all these people that come from this one, and it's all mostly patrilineal, dealing with the father, as opposed to matrilineal.
Right.
You see? And now, what's Dina's real story other than she got assaulted? What's her real story?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They take the 13th daughter and just exclude, and then everybody run with this 12 tribes. They don't even say, then where's her tribe?
Exactly.
Or why doesn't she have one? That's important. Well, it's mostly matrilineal. Patrilineal. But that's why I say it's deception within itself. Now, you can believe it if you want to, because most people want to be deceived. You see? So will there be another book? Of course. There's books being written now.
Right.
There are religions being formed now. Spirituality is one of them. And one day some smart ass is going to be like, I'm going to write a book about it. Might be 100 years from now, might be tomorrow. And they're going to start putting it together and putting books together. Like it'll be similar to the Tabiblia or the Bibles, the books.
Yeah.
You see, before the Bible became the Bible. So you're going back to the 4th century of when they were starting to compile the codexes. You see? Or the Septuagint being put together as scrolls that they were taken from all over the place. And we just want to, so I open it up, and now not only are you lying to me in the beginning, you also said, oh, it's 66 books. But we took out about 66 books. I'm like, then I don't have the whole Bible.
Right.
Right here. You see?
So.
But so, no, this is what we say is our version. King James. Who the fuck is King James? Only version I should see is God's version. Then it should still be written in the language that it was written in or delivered in. But then you got a problem because you got some people speaking Aramaic, Old Testament, Hebrew, right? Then you got the New Testament where you have Greek. You see? So that'll be a problem when people are trying to figure out what these words actually mean in the translations and who was supposed to account for what part of the story. And then you piled it all in one. So I got multiple languages that I don't even speak, and you translate it all to English, even though even the expression of Hebrew is not just clean cut. You're going to just put it into a word of English. The expression has so many sacreds behind one sigil.
Right.
I'm missing the story automatically.
Right.
So when I say Jesus, I'm not even thinking about who and what I'm dealing with and why. That's being lost because the real Yeshua name, which would have been expressed at that time as Yod, Shin, Ayin. You see? If I'm not getting that, then something is missing.
What was the sigils for your sheep?
So if I say Yod is like the hand. So it's dealing with something dealing with works or degrees. The Shin is something that's being destroyed. Right? A destruction that takes place. And then you have the Ayin. Ayin is like the eye.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like Ayan.
Yeah, Ayan.
Okay, Ayin. So you'll have it being expressed as, or you have Yeshua Yod, and then they'll have what do you call it? What is it? The Sheen, or well, yeah, because you won't have Seen because it's Shah. Because it could be Seen, hey, but it's Shah. So you're saying Yeshua, not Yeshua.
Okay.
You see? So those would be the main ones of the third part root, and is expressed as saying something that came here with the handiwork of destroying whoever that I would be.
Damn.
And the I at that point will be referred to Illuminatus.
Right.
Okay? Not the I of Ra or Re or God. There are multiple eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? Or multiple lights or multiple walks of life.
Right.
Where people are doing different things. Or you come to destroy it, then you talk about the eye of sin. You see that?
Exactly, yeah.
And the eye of sin, as an ancient Mesopotamian god, is the eye of the moon. And that moon's eye is the dark eye. Those who cause people to miss the mark. So he came to reprove the world of sin, to destroy and get rid of the sin that was here. So he had to take down a house that was present. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't Horus have like 2 eyes? Like
He did.
2 eyes.
Yeah.
One of Eye Ra and the eye of
The moon.
Okay.
Yeah, the left eye and the right eye.
Right.
The left eye represented the moon, or the dark ages, or the left behind cycles, and then the right eye represented Re, or Ra, which is the light ages, or the progression cycles.
Okay, so you will have 2 in the sense of it being an anti-Christ and a Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it'll be a being that is of that nature trying to destroy the house of Ra.
Yeah, the Dajjal al-Masih, as they call it in the Quran. The Dajjal is like the deceiving one. Al-Masih.
Tau.
Okay, the Antichrist,
Tau.
or the false Christ, not the real one.
Right.
And then you have the real one, or the real Messiah, who will be Al-Masih, or Isa Al-Masih, or Yeshua HaMashiach. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jesus the Messiah, the one that we've been talking about. That's why I say the. This is the one, Aha, who we've been referring to.
Right.
You see, in all of our stories. And he's going to come to do this. But there were many other messiahs prior to that. Moses is a messiah, Musa. He's a messiah within himself for his own people. Elijah, they call Elijah. Elijah was a messiah.
Right.
For his people who he was sent to. He resurrected the dead. Nobody makes a spectacle out of it. They don't say praise Elijah or Elijah. He resurrected the dead. He made fire fall down from the sky. He got rid of 50 niggas at one time. He was doing all kinds of stuff.
Right.
You see that? Healing the sick. But they don't really count that. Because they want to highlight the destruction that took place to the body of Christ.
Right.
What they call the sacrifice. Why? Okay. Because if Jesus came to give his life, right, or to die for people's sins, look at what's happening. Don't just take my word for it. Look what's happening. In the world of sin, do you really think that they believe that Jesus died for their sins so the sin will be no more? No, they're using it. He becomes a scapegoat.
Right.
Right? Bled out for them. So they can say, well, Jesus is going to forgive my, or allow for my sins to be forgiven because Jesus already died for my sins.
I mean, he's the lamb and they using him as a scapegoat.
There you go.
So, that's crazy.
There you go.
That's crazy.
It is crazy because look at the world. It's crazy. The world is crazy.
Yeah.
And Christian people, like I told you, they love Jesus up to the point of hate. You see what I'm saying? Meaning they love Jesus so much they become hateful people.
Yeah.
But how's that possible? Because you're not doing the work. He said, take up the cross and walk with me. It ain't just him supposed to be saving you from your sins now. Now you supposed to be saving yourself from your sins or from the sins of the world. You see that? Or how can you do that when you're too busy using him or leaning on him? Exactly. And they don't read it fully because he said, not all who say unto me, Lord, Lord, are of me. Many will come to me in that day and say, I did this in your name. I opened a church in your name. I healed people in your name. And he'll say, what? I never knew you. Yeah. You see? So don't tell me all I got to do is praise Jesus. Don't tell me all I got to do is go around doing Jesus' work, naming others. I don't mean anything. It's, are you actually going to be on that cross? Because all them disciples around him, who was on the cross with him? Yeah. None of them disciples. Yeah. You see that? Only one who was really around it, they say John was in the shadow watching it. But Mary was right there, the woman. Yeah. Was right there looking for the body and figuring all this other stuff out. All the other people fled. Right. 20 will be standing. You see? 18 will flee. Yeah. And it's just pointing to the story of the ratio of who was actually left. Right. 3. The mother married. Okay? Mary married. And John observing. Right. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people like Mark, the rest of them, they get the story later. They don't want to talk about that. These canonical gospels don't always align with one another. And Luke wasn't a disciple.
Right.
Luke came later.
Right.
And he said, they said some shit that sound right to me, so I'm going to write it too.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Two.
Okay. What you got?
Okay, boom. So, okay, so you know how we were speaking about it being like two bioengineering thing going on. Okay. In that case, they or the extraterrestrial beings or the angels or the heavenly host will have sent down a being to quote unquote save the planet, right?
Okay.
And that would be the Messiah, El Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
And how on the other side you have beings that are bioengineering and creating a being or beings in that sense.
Yep.
Do you think that is how they would or that is how the Dajjal would come out? Or
It's a part of it, meaning to reverse the progress that was taking place or could be taking place?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Epigenetics isn't something that only the virtuous can use. The nefarious can use it too. Okay, when we go around teaching, what do you think we're doing? That's epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
We're raising people from the dead. We're pulling people away from whoever this bioengineering project group of beings would be.
Right.
So we're causing them to think for themselves, and then that reverses that current.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That would have been down pressing them.
And not
No, you good. Go ahead.
as time goes on
Yep.
and things heat up,
Mm-hmm.
time speeds up, and space does its thing, gravity is getting stronger, it seems like.
Okay.
So it'll be more difficult to pull people from out of that side, in a sense.
In a sense, and let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're really doing the work, you can always pull people.
Right.
It may be more difficult, but if you're really doing the work, the weight may get heavier, but you've been doing push-ups.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
The weight may get heavier, but you've been lifting.
Mm-hmm.
So heavy lifting it's still going to be heavy. That's what people get misconstrued about weightlifting. It's still heavy,
Right.
but you can endure it. You see what I'm saying? Because you've been priming yourself for that.
Right.
Take up your cross and walk with me. Don't sit here and ride on our wagon.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You take up the cross and walk. Now you have to, by the time we get to the spot, you put it down, you're ready to lift anything.
Yeah.
But if you haven't gone through that, you ain't going to be able to act like it by the time you get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be like, I can't reach nobody. You ain't one of us. We can reach anybody.
Right.
That don't mean they're going to walk with us, but we definitely can reach anybody. I done showed you many times. Ain't no celebrity that I can't reach.
Right.
We'll get right to their door. We can reach anybody. Kodak Black, them people, they seem like big stars to people that's out of reach. Not I. You see what I'm saying? I write the letter, say, let me talk to you real quick. I'm not going to DM you because it's clear that when we DM beings, they just ignore it.
Yeah.
21 Savage, he been new. You see what I'm saying? Anybody coming out with the Malachi thing, they all watch it. It's a community, it's a family.
Mm-hmm. So,
but he ignored the DM even though he brought it up on one of the lives he did with Big Bang. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
He brought up, said, nigga on DM me, but you never responded to the DM. How you know I DM'd you?
Right.
So don't tell me DM these people before going out there publicly. That's fake. You go publicly so they can't ignore you, because they'll try to ignore you, but it ain't even about them. It's about those stars orbiting them, or those planets orbiting that star.
Right.
You see, those people out here that are debris in space moving around, not understanding the star in them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you start pulling them back and say, yo, that's just a person over there. They're just people, y'all. You start pulling down the layers. So that's not 21 Savage. That's a publicist. That's a stylist. That's a videographer. That's a photographer. That's somebody that's running his social media if he need this. That's somebody that's running his promotion campaign. That's multi-millions of dollars going behind that. That's all. That's billions of this. That's da, da, da. That's not 21 Savage. It's 21 Savage. Tell them to stand by yourself.
Right.
See? You can talk to Big Bang. You can talk to Phase 1. You got to look at what I'm saying. When you married it, Phase 1 is bigger than Big Bang.
Okay.
Doesn't it make sense? Okay, but then why would they just, okay, I'm going to talk to Big Bang?
Right.
You see? Because it's that all that illusionary world is being destroyed, so you don't want to invite in that which is destroying you.
Right. Okay, I see.
That house is being destroyed. That eye is being destroyed by the hands of this man called Phase 1.
Right.
So we can't let him in. You know what I'm saying? What we got to do is try to crucify him.
Yeah.
Try. They didn't do it the first time. They didn't do it the second time. You'll hear me say, what I said in that song, I think it's a prayer song. The new Jesus, they killed the last one. I'm standing in. People think I'm trying to call myself Jesus.
Yeah.
And they think I'm talking about Jesus when I say they killed the last one. You didn't kill Jesus. Mm-hmm. See if you can go to chapter 4 in the Quran. They didn't kill Jesus the first time. But according to the story, you got to go beyond the stories that people saying you're allowed to read. Because the religions existed before any of us got here. And they got their own story. You can see chapter 4?
Yeah.
Go to verse 150 and read up to 158.
Falsehood about marrying Jesus.
Come on.
155. Oh, you said 150?
150 to 158.
I'm 155. Faith in all prophets. 150. Surely those who deny God and his messengers and wish to make a distinction between God and his messengers,
come on,
saying, we believe in some and believe in others, desiring to forge a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
151. They are indeed the true believers, and we have prepared for the believers a humiliating punishment. 152.
Come on.
8. As for those who believe in God and his messengers, accepting all, rejecting none, he will surely give them their rewards. And God is all forgiving, most merciful. 153. Moses and the children of Israel. The people of the book demand that you, O prophet, bring down for them a revelation and writing from heaven.
Come on.
They demanded what is even greater than this from Moses, saying, make God visible to us. So a thunderbolt struck them for their wrongdoing. Then they took the calf for worship after receiving clear signs. Still we forgave them for that.
Come on.
After their repentance, and gave Moses compelling proof. 154. We raised the mount over them as a warning for breaking their covenant and said, enter the gate of Jerusalem with humility. We also warned them, do not break the Sabbath, and they took from them a firm covenant.
Mm-hmm.
Falsehood about marrying Jesus.
Talk about it.
155. They were condemned for breaking their covenant, rejecting God's signs, killing the prophets unjustly, and for saying our hearts are unreceptive. It is God who has sealed their hearts for their disbelief, so they do not believe except for a few.
It's not for them. Now I want you to highlight that part. We said it's God that closed up that heart so they can't receive it.
So it is God who sealed their hearts for their disbelief.
You see? So it's similar to Allah leading those astray who He wills. If it's not for you, right? No, not the symbol. No, not the symbol. And no, not the sigils. If Wu Nuwa, which is what this says, Wu Nuwa. If Wu Nuwa isn't for you, you'll seal up anyway.
Right.
That doesn't mean you won't be around.
Right.
That don't mean you ain't gonna wear the guard.
Right.
That don't mean you ain't gonna have the archetype on. That don't mean you ain't gonna have on the hat, the namus.
Right.
That don't mean you ain't gonna be teaching in the class as a student teacher. It just means that when a new Wapian comes to you, you'll close off.
Yeah.
And you'll reject them.
Right.
Are you hearing me?
Totally.
So, what can they say? What will be the reason? Someone's out here, fists in the air, sword drawn, going to war with Set about his father, and ain't playing about it. And everywhere he go, he brings the name of Wu Nuwup. Wu Nuwupu follows Omari wherever he goes. Wu Nuwupu follows Ohara wherever he travels. And the name of Meliki follows him wherever he projects. And that same Ashuk that he taught him, he comes and he giving people and talking to people about, and he'll have to go through similar schools and degrees because of it. And you watch these people out here that are supposed to be Sabians and Nuwapians, and do they receive him openly? No. They don't highlight him. They don't say, yo, this is one of the ones that have been going to war since he was 10, before I even found this doctrine. He was here. Do they highlight? No, they treat him like he one of them outsiders. Like he won't slap fire from their soul. You see what I'm saying? Notice I said soul. Because they listen to him. Ooh, we got him. We ain't supposed to hit. Right. I ain't talking about physically. I'll slap fire from your soul. You don't know. Murdoch draws that sword. And that's my teacher. You see what I'm saying to you? How dare they talk down on or reject or try to push out and push away one of the babies who drew up their feet in the sand. You see, when the army of Set came on Tamaray, one of the babies that were able to see that they took the master. And he grew up and he never let go of the rope. But they reject him. You see? Because you say you're a Nuwabian, you say you are my father, but to deny my father, or to deny me is to what? One more time. To deny me is to deny my father. One more time. To deny me is to deny my father. But they'll never get it because why?
Sealed.
They sealed up. So they swear that, but what happens when I put on the Ankh? What happens if I put on the guard? What happens if I start coming out here with the doctrine that you think that you able to push as advanced, even though you are not a teacher? He's a teacher. What happens when we put it on and say, okay, how about this? We'll run it. Right. And we'll show you how it's done and how to get the action behind it. There shouldn't be no reason why I'm going to the elder and say, I want to involve these brothers in SBI. And the elder tells me, don't do it. They ain't about nothing. They'll come in and try to bring 6 ether into what you're doing. They sealed off. Right. You see? And they love talking about the sacrifice of Isa. But where's yours? You see? They don't even want to say his name. Why? Because if you say the name, you got to go to war about that name. Right. The moment people look up the name, with Wikipedia, right? You got to fight. You try to introduce it to somebody, you got to get crafty with it. So I'm going to go look him up. You got to tell them, yeah, go to YouTube and go to his teachings. You got to direct people because they'll grab them real quick. This man is this. You see? And the deception will overrun even their senses and they'll block them out. And they won't be able to, so you done lost someone. But they don't know that's a part of the war. You got to fight about his name. You see? Did I ever stop?
No.
Did not gain a following?
Yeah, true.
Didn't the money come? Or did I ever stop though? You see, a lot of people that got some money, and they start just doing their own thing. Right. Have nothing to do with him no more. Unless they could bring him in the picture to just make some money. Make it seem like it's about Baba Yanun. You don't know who Baba Yanun is. Stop fronting. You see what I'm saying? You put that Baba in front of Yanun, and you think it means that you know who that is? If you know who it is, why you ain't moving like that? You see?
So
Why is this? That's all you see out there. Where's this? Where's the let's move together now? You see what I'm saying? Where's the you taller than me, you stronger than me, you might got some more money than I do. But that don't mean I'm about to be intimidated or insecure about who you are. That's why you ever think with all the SBI brothers, they on point? When we walk up, do they play? No, they don't. They talk about it. They got questions about it, but can they really play? When in all actuality, the Ansar of the law moved like that. And they were more advanced than us. I'm not going to take credit. They were more advanced than we are. For sure. You see what I'm saying? But they set the formula for us to say, we got to get stuff done. And what are we here for? And most stuff you see moving, SBI pay for it. We come together and we do it, and we ain't complaining. And I even tell people, because you're always going to have somebody whining. I said, you're not required to spend it. You ever see me say? You're not required to send no money for nothing to be a part of SBI. Right. You done got in, you in SBI, okay, you're in SBI. You ain't required to pay for nothing. I'm not going to look at you and say, you can't come because you ain't help us book these events and rooms and stuff like that. But you notice we just take care of stuff? I say, yo, SBI, we need about $1,500 to handle this, and the third. All that is out there, SBI was paying for. From the pyramid to the boat to all of that. But it wasn't nothing that was a weighty thing for one person to do. You see? So as long as SBI on their business, then we can get a lot of stuff done when you got brothers moving like that. Mm-hmm. Okay? So what I tell you, yes or no, do I tell y'all read the doctrine?
2.
Okay, yes or no, do I tell y'all stay in the books?
Yes.
Yes or no, do I tell you take care of your health and take care of your person, your being, and your mind, and stay on that. I stay on people about it. But why? Because when he come out, he don't want this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to be standing right because it's going to be a work that needs to be done. I'm telling you. I can only tell you what I know. Mm-hmm. He ain't coming to lip box with people. This is the end. You see that? So if they closed off, it's for a reason. Because he didn't teach closed off and hard heart. He taught to be able to open. That's what he taught. The vulnerability of the sacrifice. He taught that. You see?
Taught.
Yeah. And they took advantage of it. And they take it for granted still to the day. And it's not everybody. I don't think it's all Sabians and Nuwabis doing it. I don't think so. I still think some of them are just like, because some of them message me and say, I see what you're doing. Don't stop. And they're rooting. And they're seeing what they know I'm not trying to replace him. You see what I'm saying? Right. They can say whatever. The mannerisms, yeah, I get that because that's my teacher. So I'm going to move like him. I'm going to teach like him. And I'm going to let you know that this is why. It's because of him. You asking me questions. If you ask me something I don't know, I'm saying, I don't know. But you ask me a question, and I can go into it. You know we're going to go into it. And you know we do this without the camera rolling. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's only because of him. So then, all right, let's say we get to the Stargate. Remember, I will tell y'all this. I said, we get to the top of the mountain, don't be looking at me. Right. Remember I said that? Yeah. Anybody been around? What I say? When we get to the top of the mountain, don't look at me. But y'all, some of you are still going to look at me. When we get to the mountaintop, that's the only one. You need him. So when we get behind the scenes and we're getting together to do stuff, you have to understand. And look, let me tell you something. Matter of fact, they tell me don't say it, so I ain't going to say that. You have to understand this. When we get together and we move in to do certain things, it's all about that. We get to the top of that mountain, y'all going to look at me, I'm going to be like, what? It's open the gate. That's not my job. All right. I am not the one who opens the gate. I was sent as a guide unto the guide. You see? They say, who sent you? Yadnun sent me. Right. Who are you? I am the messenger of Yadnun. Meaning, this is not a phase show, and anybody got a problem with me, something ain't right with you. Because if it's not me, and I got this t-shirt on, and I got this as I'm not talking about the symbols, I'm saying woo woo. And I'm going out into the world with it. How many people on here, you heard Nuwapu from phase 1? You heard about Malachi Zion? Some people still don't know what Nuwapu is, but they like how it sounds. You see? So, it's not mine. Do I act like it's something I came up with? When I'm doing something so great? No. Like I said, I'm great. But only because of he. So anybody who closed off from phase one, it's a reason for that. Where they need to open up. But not to accept me into their life. I'm saying to see what I'm doing. You could have helped.
Right.
You could have helped. Y'all letting these people run game on y'all. Williams, all this, they running game on y'all because you just won't activate. And do what we were taught to do, so it don't look like I'm trying to be some individual where I'm the individual when I'm doing what the doctrine said for us to do. And I'm not forgetting about he. And then he come around and say the same thing. Y'all did all this, you got up the doctrine and got nothing to show for it. Right. That's why he talking about the NOI. He's talking about the NOI because look, what they got something to show for it. You can't just keep disrespecting them brothers. Talking about they left behind. They're so left behind that they're on point. Now make it make sense. The NOI gonna need some people to listen. The NOI gonna need some people to line up with soon.
Right.
The NOI gonna be looking for who gonna be in that seat soon. And what will the Nubians be able to say? We got this. We can do this. What can we bring to the table? Other than running our mouth about how we great.
Ain't there something in the Bible about that?
About what?
About Egyptians and
yeah, that's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 25. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, you read Isaiah 19 through 25. I think it's Isaiah 19:25, where he was explaining about who each category of people would be.
Right.
He said Egypt was his people.
Uh-huh.
He said the Assyrians, which was I was taught are the Muslims.
Okay.
All right. They are the handiwork, the ones who are going to get stuff done. And the Hebrew Israelites, the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, aligning with that too. Yeah. The Hebrew Israelites would be the inheritance, those who inherit. Go to it, you see it. Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. So you don't have to believe me. But that makes sure we're getting it straight too. But you look at it now, you see the Muslims are the hardest working.
Right.
You see? The Nation of Islam, they work the hardest. They got the most discipline. And they don't play them games when it comes to their doctrine. Now the Hebrew Israelites, they're the loudest. But they, you know what I mean? Or they might be the biggest. They might be able to move some rocks. Right? And the Nubians or the Egyptians definitely have the most wisdom, the most right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, sound and right reasoning. That's non-debatable. Right. But it don't matter if you got all that opening knowledge, that Fatiha faith, no works. You might as well be saboteur. You might as well be resting. That's what he said. He said, y'all stood still. He said, y'all act as if I died. According to what the sister from the Trinidad part said when she was reading on that phone call. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So he was saying, y'all act like I died for 25 years.
I was on the call yesterday, and I just...
you went to that call?
Yeah.
The Sunday call?
Yeah.
We weren't going to miss it, but one of the sisters sent it to me anyway.
Yeah, I missed the reading of the letter though.
I got it. I'll send it to you.
All right.
I'll tell you again. But the point is, he was saying everything I was saying. Go ahead.
That's what you were saying not too long ago.
On the live?
No, when you just said something about he said y'all got the doctrine, but y'all not doing it.
On the live.
He said that on
he said it in that letter he wrote it.
Yeah.
To let my words be known.
Yeah.
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 You can't fake it. What? They're supposed to say, nah, okay, what we got?
Yeah.
We had long enough to get some land. It was about 9 of us building that out there. Thousands of new obvious.
That's crazy.
You see? We had time to get land. We had time to build something for the women and children. And these men want to stand in front of me as elders and try to tell me something. And respectfully, I can't hear you. Because what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to be stupid for another 10 years? Thinking it's going to be y'all? Y'all told me I had the right to and the frame to believe or to look forward to it being y'all when I was 3. Because I couldn't do anything.
All right.
There was nothing I could do. And I'm 13, I started activating a little more. Maybe there's something I could do. By the time I'm 23, I was out and moving. That's when I was around the rest of the people, the vegan selling people and the rest of them. And I said, these people are devils. Right. Simple. You have to experience it. You don't have to look at them and think and treat them that way.
Yeah, I was doing it.
Because I'm saying it.
Yeah, I was doing it.
So I'm not telling you to do that
Yeah.
or to abhor your brother. Because that might still be your brother.
Right.
I was taught, don't call everybody your brother.
Right.
That's what I was taught. That everybody ain't your brother. He said, stop with all this my brother stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because you've been thinking that everybody your brother, people will snake you. It was back in 2022. I'm coming around the family and saying, okay, this what we on? Let's see, let's do it. It didn't take but 3 hours for me to realize I was in the wrong place. Because the energy, the ether is all wrong. And once that ether, remember I taught you that, or told y'all that. Once that ether get corrupt, it's hard to get it back.
Right. The
Emotional atmosphere. Meaning, once a nigga, okay, let's say you got some brand new shoes. This is going to be crazy. My analogies come, but it'll be crazy sometimes. Let's say you got some brand new shoes. Just bear with me. And you've been wanting these shoes, right? And let's say you got a homeboy. And you leave the shoes, say, look after my shoes, right? You come back, nigga done pissed on your shoes. You say, why would you piss on my shoes? I know it's crazy.
Go ahead, bro.
Right? Because you got to ask, what, you ain't going to just, you got to ask, why would you do this? Right?
I'm probably not going to ask no questions.
No, you have to ask questions because did a dog get in here? You got to make sense of it.
Okay.
You ain't went through it yet because it's an analogy.
I got you.
See what I'm saying? So why would you piss on my shoes?
Yeah.
And he say, want nowhere else to pee. And you have to deal with that type of delusion with all these bathrooms in the houses you in.
Okay.
Okay. That's what you're going to say. You're going to say, okay. While you try to get your thoughts together, whether you're going to hit it with the left or the right.
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm explaining to you?
So.
Okay. Once that happens, even if y'all work through that, some way, let's say y'all fight, you know what I'm saying, whatever, and y'all dap up.
Okay.
Every day you're going to think about how this nigga pissed on your shoes.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, you got to introduce this nigga to somebody. So you introduce this nigga to somebody, but you got to say, but don't leave your shoes around.
Right.
Right? Nigga say, what the fuck? Why would you say that? You're like, because you pissed on my shoes. If I don't tell them that, watch this nigga around your shoes because he tends to pee on them.
Right.
Maybe I need to stop. You get what I'm saying? So then they say, okay, cool. But he don't believe you.
Yeah.
So he leave his shoes out. He call pissy shoes. So this pissy shoe nigga that became the fucking head teaching the class. But he pees on shoes. But everybody just in there barefoot because they know he pees on shoes.
Bruh.
Huh? Talk to me. And then you walk in and you like, why everybody, oh, this is the pissy shoe nigga. No, that's no, that's the pissy shoe nigga. I know him. He beat on women.
Yeah, right. Right.
He might have had a barbershop in the West End, but this nigga's a fucking devil. Yeah, but you know, yeah, he might pee on shoes, but that's why we barefoot. So he doesn't pee on our shoes. So you just take your shoes off and you sit there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then it's like, if you stand up, because you caught this nigga in the act of peeing on some shoes. Just like your mama caught him in the act of peeing on some shoes. He's like, yo, man, you peeing on shoes. We don't do that. They say, you're going against the master. Now you're confused. You take your shoes with you, you leave. You find another group of people. Everything's all good. That environment over there is fucked up and it's pissy.
Sure.
Right? So you just find another group of people and say, maybe these people over here got a little sense. And it smell like they got sense. It seems like they got sense. Everything is all good. Y'all working. Say, yo, how about this? I like how this business is going. Can we open up the door and let some other people in so that they can get the benefit of the reading of the doctrine and all of that? Yeah, cool. That's fine. All right, cool. All right. The name of this class is, when it's all over, some people got to get on some ships and leave. So you say, I love being in this class called, when it's all over, some people got to get on some ships and leave. Mm-hmm. And the person you're doing business with just starts frowning at you. You're like, what's wrong? Nothing. No. That's not the name of the class? No, it is the name of the class. So what's wrong? I'm just saying, I don't like how you spreading all this fear around. It don't say that on the title. It don't say we spreading fear. It says when it's all over, everybody got to get into some ships and leave. How am I spreading fear? Right. I'm just saying, we don't teach fear. It don't sound scary to me. You see? Now, people that are in the class or in that environment are going to this person seeding more seeds about you. This nigga's a demon. He's selling rugs. No, this is real. You got to listen to the truth in the analogy. This nigga's selling rugs. That's demonic. Some nigga that's supposed to be Nuwabian, but he can't let go of the Arabic shit. Right. He can't let go of the Muslim school. And he's still here. So also, prayer rugs is demonic. Why you putting symbols on it? It's fabric. Like this. You see how it's symbols on it? But you see? What do you think them designs are? If it's supposed to be no symbols on it, keep it black. Right. These symbols are just smaller and curved different. You see? So then another one going to talk to the person and say, he's trying to get a following. Even the person that's mad at you about the, you know what I'm saying, the ships is like, well, respectfully, he don't need no following. He got a bigger following than all of us combined. Yeah. So why would he be here looking for a following? There's 1,000 people in this room, and I have hundreds of thousands of followers. Why am I here looking for a following? No, I'm here to set the record straight, as my teacher told me to do. So I want to make sure everything running smooth. And this is my shit, because he gave it to me. You see what I'm saying? Oh. And it's your shit if it's yours, because he gave it to you. So don't you want to make sure your shit is clean? Fast forward. So they mad at you about the ship statement, even though that's the name of the class. They mad at you about other shit that don't have nothing to do with anything. They mad you want to follow him, even though you have a following. You see? So now they got to pull up scripture to say that this is what you want. And a part of the scripture is saying you are upset because the master won't give you a seat and he doesn't trust you. And you got to respond and say, I don't give a fuck if the master trusts me. He didn't tell me that he need to trust me to get shit done. You see? I don't need him to say, this is phase one. Everybody follow and support him. Even though he said, make sure everybody supported him. In the UK and all of that. We got it on audio, right? It don't matter. Because if I play that audio, they'll get mad at me. And say, why you playing the audio? Why you trying to just use his voice? Da-da. Why are y'all not doing what he said? He said everybody support him. Now, do you see everybody supporting him? Point being, from that environment to another environment, of niggas who swear they got OSM vision, whatever that means. Listen, the environments, the actual ether, the emotional atmosphere, once certain characters into the environment, it's over. And they're coming. As soon as I get in, you start seeing other people join the group. Who's that? Who told people I was here? And then they'll do stuff like I'm asking questions, they'll answer everybody else's questions around me. And I come, I say, when was the meeting? When did y'all have a meeting and say, don't answer his question? So you're going to try to play me. But doesn't that make the environment weird? It does. But that's in the person. But the only thing about it is when I show up in the flesh, it's a whole different ballgame for a lot of these people. You see what I'm saying? When they're in front of me, their energy is a lot different than all this behind the scenes shit. That's why I say I can't wait till we get some land when he out. And y'all have to stand in front of who it was that you were trying to play down. You see, if I'm saying something that's so against what the master is saying, then why does he come out and say the same thing I done said after I done said it and y'all played it? You see? Point being, the emotional atmosphere, once that ether is corrupted, it's hard to get it back. That's why I couldn't send people over there in good faith, for lack of better words, to tell them, all right, go on over there and study. I just send people to him. You see? So, but a lot of this stuff about the shift, watch what I tell you.
You know, like in the moment when you were just saying what you just said.
Yeah, about the pissy shoes.
No, not about the pissy shoes. But about like when you gotta stand in front of the person in flesh.
Yeah.
You know, in those moments you were saying that, it dawned on me, like it finally clicked.
Yeah.
Why? Like, cause you would say they don't really rock with you because they don't really rock
with him. Simple.
Like it just dawned on me just then.
Simple. He said that when he get out, he said a lot of people don't want him to get out.
Right.
He said because when I get out, I'm going to enforce Wunuwap.
Right.
So if you got a problem with me for doing that, oh yeah, you definitely don't fold, bro.
Right.
Now you're going to try to kick it because that's going to help you save face.
Right.
But you don't know that you're really losing face by rejecting one of his messages.
Right.
But it's like everybody got this, I'm telling you, bro, they got this mentality that if they kick it, it works. That's not how Nuwapu works. You can't kick it. It has to be real.
Right.
You see? So the love you say you got for him, it ain't going to be, I love you, and then you tripping, and I'm going to let you fall. You see? It ain't going to be, you ever had somebody locked up and you had to help them get out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you one of the people who, and I'm not trying, matter of fact, I ain't going to single you out. I'm going to say it for myself. If one of my people get locked up, it don't matter if I'm saving up for a music video. This has happened in real life. If I got $2,500 put up and I'm supposed to be doing some big music video, and one of my people get locked up and they bond is $2,100, what do you think I'm gonna do? Pay it immediately in cash.
Right.
At times, we go through the machine. I got a lot of brothers, and you know what I'm saying. Niggas got in trouble a lot. You see, so sometimes I have to spend thousands on bond to bail people out. Do you think I'm better than I? Because you don't leave your people in there for a day, 3 days, a week, a month, a year, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 23 years, 24. You don't leave your people in there. You do everything you can to make sure they get out of them walls. And he done been in different jailhouses, different prisons, different. And I'm telling you, they left him in there. And then you get up on it and you realize who it is. It's like, it's just you. It's just you.
Right.
You putting on for the rest of these people. You know what I'm saying? Yo, nigga, it's just you. I remember you. And you full of it. You see? But people say, well, this is who the master trusts. What make you think that? What make you think he trusts him? How about there's a limitation of who the fuck he can deal with? Because of how it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But he'll keep his enemies closer than even his friends. You gotta watch them motherfuckers. I'm telling you, I only know it because I'm walking it.
Right.
You gotta watch them motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying?
So,
If you don't, soon you turn your, they'll sting you. You better learn it. And he said it was the ones he came to, it was his own. He's talking about it in the doctrine. They don't even talk about that. It's like how the Christian pastors avoid revelation, but they can't really monetize it. It's not much money in him constantly reminding people in the doctrine, don't trust the house. Don't trust the administration. Don't trust his family. Don't trust his children. Don't trust. This is his doctrine saying.
right.
You see? But they'll rush all past all that. Let's talk about the Adamites. No, let's talk about the other night.
Yeah.
You see? Let's talk about how shit ain't adding right. We can rhyme it, but let's talk about the other shit. I don't care nothing about who's going to be extinct in 2060. Let's talk about what he really saying. And it's in the doctrine. That's why I tell you, read it. And you'll hear him. And he'll say something. He'll do it real slick. He'll talk about all this other stuff. He'll talk about the Adamites, the keto, all that. He'll talk, and then right in the middle of the sandwich, you have a little bitty piece of tomato.
Yeah.
And that shit say, it was that nigga right there. And you look at the nigga, and he up there reading. He said, it was the ones closest to me. And them niggas swear they reading the doctrine. And they say, I'm the closest to him. And this is not a master.
Right.
Because devil's going to go all the way. They can't even hear what you're talking about.
Right.
They'll go all the way. You see what I'm saying?
So,
A lot of people got to make their decision of what they're going to do. They can't even hear it. You'll be standing right there in the movie theater talking. They'll be listening. You see?
so,
And you're talking about them. And they say, They try to say it the loudest. You don't know we can see. We see who you are, but we just trying to figure out what you're going to do this time.
Right.
So if people around, it's like, but you got to watch and see how people move, not what they say. If somebody says, yo, Pop, I ain't never dropping the ball. We're going to keep riding. Okay? They can be 100% honest for 3 months. After that 4th month, you got to watch. Just go check up on them. Don't take them 3 months and think that that's going to be the longevity aspect. Go check up on them on that 4th month and see if they're still there. Right? Why are we not talking about what we need to do immediately? He's 81.
Right.
No, let's come in and talk about whether or not these people over here got a message or some spores from the Arcturians and the Draconians in 2020. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? The most important part of the doctrine right now is what's going on with him. Simple. All this other stuff, that's why I asked some questions I know you don't know nothing about. And then as soon as I get them, they say, well, he taught us to go check it out so that we can learn to trust what he's saying. Be quiet. Please sit down. That shit ain't in you. When it's in you, it's like you can't sit still. You got to be moving. And say, okay, now once I learn about these Arcturians dropping the disease off, what's going on with him? Huh? One of these same people that run him out told me that Pop wanted us to support Williams and Williams in 2024. They told me that in person. I ain't go for that. Because when you have it, that's not right knowledge. Like, this shit ain't making sense. You see what I'm saying? So just remember, when you're dealing with these types of war, these types of battles, it's a lot of different type of masters. You got masters of illusion, you got masters of illusion. That's what I'm saying. You got masters of light and you got masters of light. And they can make it look like boy. Go ahead, keep reading because you'll see what I'm saying. You better, hey. They better tighten up.
156.
Go ahead.
And for their denial
Come on.
and outrageous accusations against Mary. Oh, let me go back 55.
Yep.
155. They were condemned for breaking their covenant,
Come on.
rejecting God's signs, killing the prophet unjustly, and for saying our hearts are unreceptive. It is God who has their hearts sealed for their disbelief.
Come on.
So they do not believe except for a few.
Right. Except for what?
A few.
Let me explain it a little bit. They are not of al-mu'minun. It's not just speaking of believers. It's speaking of those who have the faith.
Right.
Faithful. Right? They're not truly faithful either, because if you're faithful and not true, you're not truly faithful.
Right.
He said many were faithful. They came in as al-mu'minun wa mu'minati back in that day and started the law. But they were not true. And he just spoke about that in the Let My Words Be Known. He said the men out here, right, that are out here like they some student teachers, they were faithful, but not true. Right. That's the elders. That's all the people trying to tell me some shit. He talking about y'all. I wasn't a part of that group of people who were faithful and not true because I wasn't birthed until 1998. So tell me he not referring to y'all. The same one's trying to tell me some shit. He said y'all didn't do anything with the doctrine. You see? Those people out here parading or cosplaying the Wapu. They're not living it. It's not true to them. So they're not truly al-mu'minun either, in the bosom protected of Allah, as they call it. And Allah in this story would be Ya'nu.
Right.
You see?
Oh.
They line up. Because that's the one who has the pen. Tahuti. And he extols with the pen and writes, and he can lead people astray. You go over here to the left.
Right.
To the left. To the left. Don't ever forget. Even though I told you, you can go ahead and forget everything I said. Don't ever forget what I said. Because you'll see something like Malachi comes out and he says, everybody burn the books about what I said about Father Muhammad and all of that back in the day.
Right.
That didn't mean burn the books. That mean he was shifting gears. Don't forget what he said, though. That don't mean what he said ain't true. Yes, sir means left hand. Yes, sir. It does. They can say what they want to say. He talked about this language being a new Arabic. Okay? So that means it's linked in with what? Arabic.
Right.
And Hebrew. You see?
So,
Not to be confused as something that's coming after, but it's still linked in with it. So when you're saying yasar, are you not saying left or left hand?
so,
You see? But they can't even depict that or see that for themselves to get that picture. Do you get what I'm explaining to you? So then they'll be out here pushing and not knowing you done already got sent to the left. I say you don't see the correlation, sound and right reasoning. Sabbat, wu sabat. Sabbat, zupu, nupu, zupu, subu, sebu. Right? Or 7, shaba, shiba, and under. And you're resting, 7th, sabbat. They'll even call it sabbatic. I say, look, sabbatic looks, that lines up with the goat. There's something called the sabbatic goat. And this is a language saying it's called, that don't mean that he pushed something evil. It just means, do you see the pen? Yeah. Because these people are going left in their actions. Their ether is getting worse. Their energy amongst each other is getting worse. And then you got some people say, wait a minute, let me back up off of that.
I got a question.
And let me stay close to the one who got the rope. Go ahead.
Does that Sabbat or the 7 relate to 7 ether and the heritages of the Hindus and things like that?
You been reading all the tablets?
Not recently.
Okay, but you read that in all the tablets?
With
the 7 ether and the Hindus and the ones with Anunnaki, the 6 fingers. Okay, cool. Or the 12 fingers and 12 toes.
Mm-hmm.
Tawa, it does. 7 ether, what they call the hollow hair of the Hindus or the fallen ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it does. But that's the word itself, Sheba, in Hebrew.
Right.
It's 7.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But it's also a word that means an oath or a promise. You see? And Sheba is a deity. And that word is saying that which is not.
Right.
You see, so that's a whole other story. But it does align with 7 because he has Septorishis.
Would that align with Apep?
How so? What do you mean?
Destruction. Because Sheba is
Let me tell you how it could. If the 8 would be the link, right? Like a chain link.
Yeah.
From the 7 going up to the 9. Yeah. 9 ether being completion of the sun right here. If you count this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. Right? You see the sun on the 9. The 9 is also that number that's speaking about a perfected mindset. Right? Or right mind, or the 9 mind. Right? And you also have complete for us our light. Perfect for us our light. In El Quran. Light being perfected is speaking of a globe, corona. Okay? We're going to talk about the C19 and the 1 through the 9 as a journey or travel of that 19 number that Yadnun comes with. Right? So if you don't make the journey and you don't complete it, you'll stop at 7. Right. Then your sun sets and you go into 6 or sex. That's why he said the Wapians are still under the spell, being swallowed and consumed by the sex force. Right. You see? So how you going to get to the 9? If you're standing upside down, you can't stand upright or stand right. Right. It's real. Anybody trying to fake it ain't gonna make it. This is a real thing. You see? And so the resurrection aspect of it, or the Rosicrucian aspect of it, or the Rosy Cross aspect of it is activating the fire in the middle. That allows for the gases to travel up. You ascend. Mm-hmm. Like Yeshua ascending off the cross. Go look at that picture in the Holy Tablets. Yeshua with his palms facing up. If you were there for the ceremony, if you observed me, you would have saw me stand there, feet planted, and I raised my palms up to the sky. Did you see that? No. Some people did. And let me tell you something. In the correspondence that the sister from Trinidad just read, what did she read? She said at the end, or read from Meliki, he said, stand and hold your palms up to the sky. He said, stand with your palms face up to the sun. This would have happened after I did it on the ceremony day. Right. And then he comes around and said, and people around me looked and said, that's what you did. I said, exactly. Do you see? So. Okay, so it does align with that if you're speaking about the setting of the sun. Right. You can make a lot of stuff align with anything. That's not saying that that's what they wrote it for. Uh-huh. But everybody has the darkness, everybody has the light, and then some people will choose the darkness. Some people are transforming into devils, some people are transforming into gods. According to what he says, go listen to where the Cain get his wife from. And he talks about where you're at. The transformation now. You see? So. The transformation into the light for some and into the light for others. You got to come out of the darkness, but then eventually got to come out of the light. You done traveled And that light will be the false light or the fake or fabricated light of this reality of the darkness. You're coming out of that. So you're no longer in the dark, you're no longer confused, you're not a part of apex or hypothesis age. You're not setting, you're rising, Ra, Re. And once you raise, incorruptible, your change is taking place and you ain't going back to being corrupt. But some people will sleep or seventh. This is written in the book of Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 55, if I'm not mistaken. Where they say, there will come a time, he said, I'll show you a mystery in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye. Many will have to be changed. You know, he said many will go to sleep after that trump blows on the last trump. Right. Many will fall into sleep. And some will raise up incorruptible. But we will all be transformed. So don't forget, he said some people are transforming into more evil beings. It's hard. I see a lot of people going into it every day. But I grab them, I say, listen, you know, but that's just I shook.
Right.
You ain't gonna make it if you don't do this. No matter what, listen, do I talk to you about it? I say, man, you gotta stay on top of this, and this. Right. And that's not being self-righteous. What I tell you, I say, because I done went through this, or I done did that, or I done experienced it this way. I can only tell you that because I done experienced it. Right. It's real. How many people you think know it's real, though? There are a lot of people talking. Go ahead, read that part you just read again. I think that was what? Chapter, so where we at? 155. Read 155 again. Yep.
They were condemned for breaking their covenant, rejecting God's signs, killing the prophets unjustly, and for saying our hearts are unreceptive.
Right.
It is God who has sealed their hearts for their disbelief.
Let's do it.
So they do not believe except for a few. Stop
right there again. What verse you on? That's 156? That's still 155?
That was 155.
Okay, check this out. They do not believe except for what?
A few.
Except for what?
A few.
Except for what?
A few.
The elite few.
Right.
They still talking he's sent for the whole black race.
Right.
You don't even know how to pull the right reason out of what he's saying.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because the doctrine that you're pushing is for some people that's left behind. Now explain it to them. Because you saying the whole race, or you saying the 144,000, or you saying 1, 4, 4, right. 9, which is what he said. Right. You see? I mean, you got to take it deeper, but you can't monetize the doctrine to the extent in which they are.
If it's only 9.
Exactly.
Right.
When you tell people the truth, it's hard to sell that to them, as opposed to you got a decision you got to make.
Right.
You see what I'm explaining to you? Will you be of the 9? These are his words. Spoke with these people talking about. He done spoke already. There ain't no doctrine about the religion. That's real life. He said in the end, when all of this is over. When he said we have our own time, he explained a lot of this stuff. Before he left, he said, I'll come to you in dreams. Why would he have to come to us in dreams? Wouldn't he still just be out? He could just talk to us. Right. When he said stuff, when all of this over, all of what is over? You see? And he said he was searching for them true psychic. Now watch what I'm telling you. This happens in the hidden, the unseen degree. Don't let these people fool you. They can make it look like anything, but the unseen degree is where this is taking place, and this is happening. And I'm just narrating it. I could very well just disappear. And what I'm saying is still going to be real. It's happening in the hidden degree. Amun. 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 Amun is meaning what? Hidden or something unseen. Amen. Amen. Revelation chapter 13, I think it was. Or Revelation chapter 13 or Revelation chapter 3 verse 14, one of them. Right? Amun. Hidden. The Amun. Pa Amun. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. If it's hidden, Amun, and you have Min and Nun hidden right there in that word, not just A-M-U-N, you have Men and Nun. Min, Nun, or Mem, Nun, Amun, or Eman, as they say in Hebrew, or Iman, or Imani in Arabia, or even in the African, they'll say Imani as faith. You see? So Imani, Arabic, Iman, okay, Mu'minun, those who are of Menun, all right, or men, because you say saying plural still. In, mu'minin, or mu'min. Okay, so those ones who are of Meni, which is Amun. Okay, those who have walked that order of the unseen. So they're not just believers, as how Christians might say. They actually know.
Right.
And it's only a few of them. I'm one of them.
I see it.
You see?
Taboo.
So we know, but those who know don't tell. And those who tell don't know. You see that? So that Amun is hidden. It's not out there out in the open, trying to play all these little games. Stuff's happening behind the scenes. And you got to be there to witness it. You see what I'm saying? You got to watch what I really do. You see? Watch what I really say. Watch, you see me walking around, you see two sisters walking with me. Wherever I went. You saw that? Two witnesses. Observing the same Yanun signs given to me by the elders. And recording. And you know, when the power comes when the women are on point. When they can't be distracted. You see what I'm saying? Because you might be able to try to tell the men, yo man, lock in. You see? But if the men are distracted, then they could throw the women off. But the women ain't being distracted, there's a protective science to that. You see what I'm saying? Which is why you had the women of the veil around Pops. They walk through, you don't even say nothing to them. You see what I'm saying? They walk through because they're on a mission to get something done. And when they move with him, they moving with him. You see what I'm saying? Because what else is there to do? And that's why you say surround himself with women. Are you picking up on what I'm really saying? Watch what I do, because you'll see the roses on their dress. You see what I'm saying? And you'll even realize that I had the rose of the flowers on my jacket. And you saw the pearls. You see? This is a story now. You have to go and read the degree that I'm exhibiting. Matthew chapter 7. Go to Matthew. Actually, let's finish reading this and we shift to Matthew 7. But let's finish reading that. You'll see what all of this is about soon.
And for their denial and outrageous accusations against Mary.
Come on.
And for boasting, we killed the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary.
Listen. Go ahead.
The messenger of God.
The what?
The messenger of God.
The what?
The messenger of God.
Okay.
But they...
Watch. Who's God in this scenario?
Allah.
And who's Allah in this scenario?
Yanu.
Yeah, I know him.
So,
did he get it? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Read it one more time.
And for their denial and outrageous accusations against Mary, and for boasting, we killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of God.
The who? The son of what?
The son of Mary, the son of woman.
The son of woman. And go ahead. The what?
The messenger of Yana. So,
go ahead.
Well, but they neither killed nor crucified him.
Go ahead.
It was only made to appear so.
What?
It was only made to appear so.
Go ahead. That was it?
No.
Go ahead.
Even those who argue for this crucifixion
the conjecture
are in doubt.
Come on.
They have no knowledge whatsoever.
Come on.
Only making assumptions. They certainly did not kill him. 158.
You see, that's it. That's it.
So,
you see how they doubled down on that?
So,
okay, actually, I said about 158. Go ahead. Hit the 158.
Rather, God raised him up to himself, and God is almighty, all wise.
Talk about it.
159. Every one of the people of the book will definitely believe in him before his death.
Okay, cool. We can stop right there. You're giving away too much. So watch this. I said 158.
Yeah.
That's what I think I said.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, cool. So watch this. Message of the
right?
Yeah, Matthew. Go to Matthew chapter 7. So you can start at verse 20.
I still got Isaiah right now.
For 19?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to that. If we remember. Well, Matthew chapter 7, verse 20. Go to Matthew 7:20. Actually start at Matthew chapter 7:19 and go to Matthew 7:29, which is where I think it ends at. And you'll be able to see what I'm showing you. You see 7:29 is what? 7 and 2 and 9, which is 9 and 9, which is 18, which is, there you go. But
you said 7:20?
yeah, 7:19. Start at 7:19, go up to 7:29. You'll see why.
Chapter 7:17.
Yeah, project 2 when you read.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Stop right there. Remember when we went out there to the Indian Mound? Etawa, good fruit. The good bearing or the fruit bearing tree or the good tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead, read it again.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Yeah.
But a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit.
Come on. A what?
A corrupt
tree. Remember, you raise it incorruptible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last Telegram chat we're going to do.
So
I know people think I'm going to change that. The last Telegram chat is incorruptible for a reason. You go look at the cover of that Telegram chat, and you'll see me standing there smiling with a key.
So
Chains on the floor in a big vault in the desert. Go ahead.
a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
Come on.
Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
One more time, though, for it.
A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good tree.
You tree.
This is a good tree. It is the yew tree. His last name, Malachi Z. York. Yarok in Hebrew means what?
Yeah.
Green. And the York word, etymologically, you on point, is the yew tree. Y-E-W or yew tree. Right?
Understood.
Okay. He yielded the fruit that is phase one. You see? And everywhere I went, I tell you, this is my father. They got mad at me, and I kept saying, look, we all said that. I never said it's my biological dad. I have a biological dad. This is my father. This is Pops. Okay? So he yields good fruit. And okay, let me ask you a question. Before me, did you know about Malachi?
No.
All right. So did you not go out into the world and blast and blow trumpets about him? And they were able to see. Don't you make fire-ass music? Now, I'm not the reason you make fire music, and I'm not the reason that you took on. Well, I had something to do with it, but I'm not the reason you took on that task of that day.
Right.
You see? All right. Not to call myself your father. I'm just saying, did you not come to this walk through me?
Totally.
I begot you then.
Totally.
He begot me.
Totally.
All right. So, am I bad fruit?
No.
Are you bad fruit?
No.
So then anybody you go out and pull in, they have to be on point.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And you have to live up to it though. Because then you make me out to be a liar if you switch up. Ever.
Right.
You see? And then something would have happened wrong. Nothing happened wrong. He speaks truth. This is an innocent man.
True.
You see? Who yielded another innocent or innocent man. You see? All right, go ahead.
A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
Come on.
Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
Come on.
Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hand down. H-E-W-N.
H-E-W-N. I think it's honed down.
Honed down.
Yep.
What is that?
I don't know.
Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is honed down
Yep.
and cast into the fire.
Yep.
Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them.
Yep.
Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord,
Come on.
shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Go ahead.
But he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven.
Yeah.
Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name?
I opened the bookstore. Go ahead.
So, and in thy name have cast out devils.
I sold your books. I brought people into the doctrine. Go ahead.
And in thy name done many wonderful works.
Yeah, we was out here. We did a parade. Go ahead.
And then I will profess unto them,
I don't even know who you are. No, my wives haven't told me about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody wrote me and said, this person is doing this work. Your works don't reach up to where I was at. I don't even know. Who are you? Who are you again? I never knew you.
Depart from me,
Depart from me.
ye that work iniquity.
Come on, because he know. What is iniquity?
I'm not sure what it exactly means.
It's lawlessness.
Right.
You went against the law.
The law.
And you might have cloaked yourself like you were still the wife, but you went against the law. Go ahead.
Okay. 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock.
I liken him unto a what?
A wise man.
I liken him unto a what?
A wise man.
Okay, don't I got a song? Go ahead.
A wise man.
Yeah, listen to it. Go ahead.
Which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the wind blew, and beat upon that house,
and what happened?
And it fell not.
Boom.
For it was
right. Go ahead.
For it was founded upon a rock.
Come on.
And every something that you said before
about the building a church on the rock.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not,
come on,
shall be likened unto a foolish man.
Come on, and doing
which
what?
Built his house upon sand.
Talk to him.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the wind blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell.
Come on.
And great was the fall of it.
The great falling away. Go ahead. Oh no, you know where that comes from, right? That's him.
Yeah, too.
Shaking the what?
The tree.
Are you hearing me?
Toe.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine.
Why?
For he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes.
Not one of them little scribes.
So
wherever I walk is like, yo, who are you? You see what I'm saying to you? So now, what would the scribes be? Those claiming to be student teachers. What would the scribe be? The scribe would be those claiming. I bet y'all, I got a phone call, I had to take it. But yeah, so yeah, the degree that I'm teaching y'all about now, you'll see me say, okay, let me show you one of the recent signatures that you'll see me put, and you have to understand why. Some of this stuff I ain't gonna be able to explain though, but I might be able to explain this. Oh, I can't show you that. For some reason, they won't let me put no more pictures. Actually, I might know the reason, because they all just sit on here with a photo and play one of my old teachers. It's easy. But okay. So you'll see me say MTHW, right? And I'll put 729 to mark about the authority point. To mark about Matthew 7 also. I'll say little things. You'll see me put a picture of a cup. I saw somebody solve that. You see what I'm saying? Other people were saying other things, not that you were wrong, but somebody solved it. Your ability to solve that shows me where you are. And I would tell you, stay there. Whatever going on in your life, you need to stay right where you're able to look at the images and see what we're saying, because that's one of the ways we communicate. If you see the cup, you say, cup, pass me by. I said, cup, okay, the cup of Jesus, we say, yo, Abba, Abba. Only if it's in your will that this cup pass me by. You see what I'm saying to you? Meaning that you're not wanting to go against the forces of nature. You're ready to lock in with whatever the plan is going to be. Right. You get what I'm saying? All right, you got any questions?
No, I was listening.
Okay. So the main thing is, it's still leading up to the 9. But I've been told people read Matthew. You see, remember, right before my birthday, I said what? Judas is plotting his betrayal. So all these things are still a part of the story, though. Don't ever get it misconstrued. It still points back to the master.
Right.
All of it. And now we're dealing with people behind the scenes who saying this is going to be the end all be all of being able to aid and assist. And they're going to have to show and prove whether or not they were for real. If not, you're going to have one final display. And that display will be about the action of opening the gate. And after that, it's like, but we on a certain time limit. Most people don't know they got a small amount of time left with me. You see? But if you watch me, you see I'm moving different. If you watch me, pay attention, it's like, and it's in a positive way. I'm saying, okay, this is about to be this. Y'all better be ready. But do you see me sweating?
No.
Because why would I? However, the sweat will come for thinking about others and what they're going to have to deal with if they're not ready. So I'm giving everybody keys. I said, this is how you're going to be ready. This is your formula.
Is it prepared or ready?
It will be, they won't be able to be ready. Ultimately, so I get why you asked that.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they'll need to be prepared.
Okay.
But you can be ready if you accept what I accepted, that it's the nature forces moving. Then you'll be ready, because you don't think you own me.
Right. Yes. I mean,
He was telling people this before he disappeared,
what part?
that they need to be ready.
Oh, two, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or be prepared. He was telling people that before he left. What are you going to do? How will you be able to move forward when I'm gone? He told me that. Okay. He disappeared, correct? Did we ever get Tom Ray again? No. Do we have the schools and all of that for the women and children?
No.
No. Have the brothers unified and come together? You see them out there moving as a unit? No. You see?
Okay.
So who held it all together? It's not a question. Who held it all together? That's the only one who can make calls.
Right.
He. Who? He. He who? You see that?
Two.
What do you get what I'm telling you?
I'm
That there's only one person that you need to seek out.
with you. Two.
That's he. Transmitter for Yanu. It's the only one you need to seek out. All these other people, they faking it. They faking it because they had time to show they're not faking it. And he just sent out a message saying, y'all didn't even do nothing. With 25 years, we don't need to listen to them, bro. That's what I'm telling you. No, it's you now. You know what I'm saying? You getting your all black. You getting the doctrine. You learn to teach and put your heart in it. You got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You got something you're supposed to be working on and you got to do it daily. You can't be, I went to rest, I went to sleep. Because that, you want to know what that sound like to me?
Step back.
That too, but also stay up and keep watch.
Two.
And then it goes away and comes back and you sleep.
Yeah.
Then other people gonna get it in their brain, like some people doing it, they don't want to say they're doing it. Other people will get it in their brain and they say, the master ain't coming back. They put that in the story too. It said the foolish one will be the one who said, my master will not be returning. And they go on and just be a part of the world. And then he pop up when they least expect it. Like a thief in the night. They were talking about that on the call. That he would come back like a thief in the night. You see? There are people that were on that call that he talked about. Do you hear me?
Two.
They're the ones bringing you the message. And he said, he don't trust this one, that one, he don't tell this one no information, and they can't say nothing. They gotta ignore what I'm saying. Because I heard them. I ain't getting no update. People try to keep me out of it. Say, I don't know, he don't like that type of stuff. He gonna like it today. He love it today. Press play. You know what I'm saying? Am I lying? No. We sat in the car for 4 hours and I listened to him. And I'm me. And you think I was talking to her while he talking? You think we going over how we, you know what I'm saying, had a good day? I'm listening and recording what he's saying. 4 hours worth. If he talked for 30 seconds, you got enough. And I'm not playing. She played different. 1 hour, 12 minutes, 1 hour this, that, 1 hour that, 4 hours worth. And we sat in a parking lot. And she would talk every now and again and say, yeah, see, people say I don't talk to Dom. I do talk to the master teacher. I don't care about that. I'm trying to hear what he's saying. Because he's saying something different than what these people out here saying. And they playing games, bro. You got to know the game. Come on, now you from the streets. You see what I'm saying? No game, bro. It's just game. You want to know what part of the game is? Let me tell y'all a part of the game. So you can understand it. Why not? If I was standing here in a tank top, do you think the message would be getting across the same? No, I'll be giving it the same. You think it'll get across the same? It won't. That's the reality. And many tricksters know that. And so they stand in front of people with the garb on, and with the hat on, and with the symbols. They'll do it. And they'll talk and walk and do the same thing he do.
It's kind of like that.
It's game.
It's kind of like how folks go out and suits and stuff like that and just
Do business.
Just do shit. Yeah.
Yeah. The suit merits authority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But why do you think I tell the SBI to dress a certain way? Because everybody just show up in just joggers and you know what I'm saying, and shirts, and it's not the same type of authority when you move. This realm is programmed off of attire. There's a program for attire. You see what I'm saying? If you know you're less approachable if you're wearing camouflage.
I didn't know that.
Well, you probably didn't realize it. If you wear camouflage and you wear a whole camouflage army suit, people are less likely to approach you. And they're more likely to respect you. Most people don't even say thank you for your service, for one. So even if you had it on and you weren't trying to play rank or imitate or impersonate, you would still get the respect. You see, remember I told you, go into the DMV, have a good suit on, have a clipboard. That's your magic wand. Yeah. And you stand there and say, excuse me, I need everybody to face this direction. What people gonna do? Scoop. All right, now I need to, we're doing something new. It'll be over in like 3 minutes. Right? Why would you say 3 minutes? Because that's how long it's going to take for the security guards and the rest of them to get your ass up out of there. Or less. So before then, you get people in motion. It'll be over in like 3 minutes. We need the women on this side. We need the men on this side. People going to get up, scoop, get up. Parents separating from their children. See what I'm saying? He say, thank you. And you walk out. Run out. Especially if you're around black people. You see what I'm saying? Is this hard to understand? No. It's just I'm his son. You know what I'm saying? I have authority. No, you don't. You see, to these people you might, but nigga, you just Ramsey to me. Why? Because your works don't show. How you treat people don't show that. It don't matter who you are. Because some of the children I deal with, I deal with one of the sons, and it's always respect. You see, just because of how he move, he don't even really get involved in all the other stuff. But how he move, how he deal with people, I respect it. You ain't move, stop just doing anything and saying anything. That's not reflective of Nuwupu. You might be his son. You don't care what he brought. You see? True. So that, and that's not to disrespect the children. I'm saying this is reality. It's not just that. It's people that's saying, I was there and it's our days. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the original. This nigga, he talking about you in this update. Saying y'all ain't do anything with it. So don't tell me who you are anymore. You see what I'm saying? Don't show me your badge. I was there back then. I don't care. He gave you a formula. How I know it, and I was 3. He gave you a formula to use to get men together. Get the family together. And don't tell me it don't work. You can't tell me it don't work because brothers we don't went to get together, they weren't even Nuwabians. And they moving how Nuwabians move. How do we test it? We brought one of the elder sisters down. And still to this day, she remembers her encounter with the move. She said, you moving like the master out here. These brothers that was with you moving like the master. But you realize the brother wasn't sitting down. If I walk up on the SBI brother, he leaning. You see how I move him off the car? We don't do that. But I said already, SBI don't lean. Why? Because there's a certain authority you have to present. Why? Let's say we out with the sisters, right? And there's a pending threat. Are they more likely to approach when niggas is sitting down, leaning and chilling, eating apples? And this is reality. We was in the Walmart, niggas eating apples and leaning around. I said, SBI on point. They already know to get on point, but it's just one person. I said, this person might not be around. You see what I'm saying? You got to look at it, but are they more likely or less likely to approach if niggas is chilling or if niggas is on point? They're less likely. You see? But it ain't even just about that. It's about when it's time to get something done, and you're dressed up in a attire that says it's time to get something done, you're more likely to get something done. Yeah. Right? And she'll tell you, I was just saying, I want all SBI to have these. I think I was telling you that.
You just said it.
Yeah. I want all SBI to have the black garb. I talked to one of the sisters at the store and I said, how much of these? Okay, I think we want to come and get it in bulk. I got to make sure they got enough of them. So that we can all have, I want all SBI to have these. But I don't want me to be the only one teaching. That's why I said read the doctrine, study. More people got to get out here and start teaching, but you got to teach it and actually know what you're saying and put your heart into it. You see what I'm saying? So there's more, but it's not just the doctrine part that I'm saying. What's the most important part? He coming out.
True.
So then you ain't gonna just be getting ready to run your mouth and do tongue push-ups. You see, you better have your body right. You better have your mind right. You better have your business right. You better have your money right. If you know anything about him, he has his money right. He ain't about money. He said it to me. I've never been a money person. Multi-millionaire. Go figure. He about the business, not the money. You see? So a nigga gotta have his money right. You can't be lazy. Whatever it is, if you can't put together for yourself in any event, any situation where you gotta have $500, you know, 3 months away, you gotta have $500 in your pocket. You ain't doing enough. If you ain't, I've been out there before. Before I was able to say we're doing a fundraiser, remember I tell people, look at what I can do now. They judge it. Before I was able to do that, before I was able to get people together to raise funds to get stuff done, nigga, I had to go out there and shoot music videos, $25, $50. And if nobody was in the business getting or in the market for a music video, guess what I had to do? And I did this. I go to a temp service. You know what temp service? I get in the warehouse. Do you think I like doing that type of shit? I don't. I hate warehouses. But I go to the warehouse. We stand on the back of the truck in the assembly line. Box, 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 box. You got to finish the whole truck. But I made $150 a day. And I come back the next day, and I come back the next day, and I hated it, and it beat me up, and we there for 12 hours. But the money was being made because I had to take care of my people, had to take care of my family. Right? A lot of brothers out here ain't got no backbone because you don't have no family to take care of. Your family been taking care of you. And now you get around a group of people in the community of people, this is how you made it be. You know that all of them are your family. And you got to be always ready to take care of something. See what I'm saying? Groceries ain't even no, that's not a fundraiser. That's a necessity. You see what I'm saying? If we're feeding the women and the children, not just until you realize SBI eat last. You see what I'm saying? Unless the sisters stand up and everybody, they might say something, say, y'all done did all this work, y'all come get a plate first. I ain't gonna step in and say, nah. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I might step in and say, nah, is if I see brother washing dishes. Well, even then, I don't think I did that. Because the sisters, I couldn't do it. Once the sisters say certain things, it's like, it's not in me to be like, nah, that ain't happening. You see what I'm saying? Certain things, some other things are. But the point is, the food that's got to be taken care of. The safety, the perimeter, that's everybody. Am I sitting still while everybody guarding me, or am I out there with y'all? I'm on the front line. I ain't sitting behind with my hands in my pocket. You see what I'm saying? I'm on the front line with a sword, and it's not for show, because there ain't no cameras rolling. And you know, if anything go down, based on how you see how I move, it's going down. But not to be able to prove I'm tough, because I was taught, you protect them women, you protect them children, and then you protect yourself. You see what I'm saying? The children, women, yourself. That's the real order. Mm-hmm. You see? So we out there with the sisters, they're to be protected. And this is how we move with the doctrine, and this is how we move about him. You get stuff done. You see? Sometimes it takes numbers to get bigger things done. So you'll see me, I'll put out a call about SBI and the perfection. Are you perfecting yourself? Totally. Are you better than when you started? Totally. Me too. Right. I'm not a hypocrite in there. I'll tell you, I just finished it. I just finished the day. I can't even go to bed until I get it done. You see? But it's because I want it to be that pure when we moving. That it ain't like I'm telling you, I'm walking out here 300 pounds. So y'all niggas need to be ashamed. You know what I'm saying? It don't work. It only works if it's real. That's why I wanted to involve the brothers, but I was advised not to. They said, don't involve. They're gonna bring 6 ether to you. You got a question?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, cool. They're gonna bring 6 ether to what you're doing. I was told don't do that. So I didn't. Now we at the last little piece of it. But it gotta be real for you. I can't stay on people's back. Remember I told you, sometimes it's harder for niggas that's closer. You right here. Sometimes it's gonna be harder for niggas right up on. Cause you ain't far enough. So that's like, you have a position, but like, you gotta be that much more on point. You know what I'm saying? I can't ask you about it and you done told me again I ain't do it.
Right.
You ain't suffering. I'm not even supposed to give you the answers, you know that?
Understood.
I'm not even supposed to give you these answers, but I'll give you all these answers. If you're not suffering, you ain't gonna make it. Say, damn. Right. I walk in, I brush my hands off, say, who's ready to suffer? And you start leaving out the door. Okay. The 3 of y'all is left. Let's endure. That's what the word means. He said, we are men of passion. Etymology of passion, patio, suffer. Endure. Go look it up. Don't believe me. This is my teacher. I tell you, Yandu was my teacher. You know what I'm saying? When we did our 9-day fast, suffering. You see? But without suffering, you ain't gonna, they say no pain, no gain. Everybody taking this path of least resistance. You got to take the path of greater resistance. It's going to push back on you. When you do push-ups, don't it push back? You know what I'm saying? You think you're doing push-ups on the ground doing push-up on you. You know what I mean? I'm talking about when you feel the lockup. Yeah. You know the lockup. But they call it failure. You know what I'm saying? They say they just want to do 50 push-ups and say, I did something. And you say it's supreme. It's not about working out. It's about that 1, 2, and that 3 that people have been speaking about, that mind, body, and soul. Right? So you have the body right there too. If you ain't working on that, then a lot of things ain't going to be getting in order. But you start realizing when you do it, you feel better. Since you feel like I be confused sometimes. Cause I be done did whatever we supposed to do, and then I'm like, I can do more. Wouldn't that be crazy? If somebody say, I'm doing 1,000 push-ups, and they do 1,000, they say that wasn't enough. That might sound crazy to you now, until the number jump. But what you'll notice is if you started off on 500, and then your degree jumped to 1,000, what you thought was a lot to do to 500 ain't even a lot no more. You're raising the frequency. So by now it's like, even if you just made it to 500, nigga, you realize you just made it to 500. You see? And then you pick up the book and you read. You listen to the teaching. You clean your diet up. Shapeshift. Yeah. It's happening on a genetic level. Now, real life. Do I look the same as when you met me? No. That's if you pay attention. Some people don't pay attention.
I pay attention.
I look back at my own video. I don't look the same.
No, you don't sound the same either.
Of course. I've transformed a few different times.
Right.
You see? But it ain't over. The transformation will keep happening. And it will keep happening for you. His big thing is transformation. You gotta change. And change is truth. It's also his thing. Go read the Sons of Green Light. If you ain't truly transforming, you're not transforming truly. So, look at what I'm telling you and why I'm telling you this. I love my family. I grew up in Nuwapu. It breaks my heart to see what happened with us. But I couldn't just sit there with my heart broken. I got to get up and I got to say the hard things. And the hard thing I'm about to tell you, people ain't going to understand it right now. There are no Nuwabians. You see? And if you hear me say there are no Nuwabians, and you think to yourself, I'm a Nuwabian, you're the only one. Remember I said people ain't going to understand it right now, what I just said. There are no Nuwabians, but if you hear inwardly, I'm a Nuwabian, you're the only one. Because Nuwapu works. You see? That's why I'll give you a formula and you're going to make $9 billion. This formula works. At the end of the formula, you're broke. I say, you got 9 months to do it. In 9 months, you're going to be a $9-billionaire, which is a multi-billionaire. Just use this formula. It's foolproof. You see? Meaning you can even duck and it'll still hit you. Because only a fool ducks when the truth is thrown out. It's foolproof. This is the foolproof method. And it works. You see? And I give it to you. In 9 months pass, I'll come back and you're broke. Okay. Then you're not a $9-billionaire. You say, well, I got the formula still. I still got the papers you gave me. I signed up. Where's your $9 billion? For what I gave you, did you know you can make more? The 9 billion?
Right.
This is him. You hear me?
Two.
And he come back, and he said, there's nothing for me to come back to. He said this. The things I'm saying, they trying to say I'm just out here wasting time. This is what he's saying. There's nothing for me to come back to. Y'all didn't do nothing with it. I gave y'all this. Nothing was done. You didn't even get the temple. Nothing was built. You see?
Two.
Okay, so if you're not the Nubian, you tell me who is. If you're not the prophet, you tell me who is. If you are counted amongst the number of the elite few, then you tell me who is then. Because the ones out there looking like it right now are not it. And that's crazy. Because I grew up around people that it looked like it. But I guess, here's what I say. I have to pay respect to my elders regardless because of the fact that what they put out for me to see as a child inspired me so much that even if they didn't really live it, at least they did what he said, which is make sure the children see righteousness. And because I saw it, I have to thank them. Even if they didn't really mean it, I still have to thank them because from what I saw, it's in my genes to transform it to it. But remember, he said, it's not going to be the imitation of righteousness. It's going to be the real thing. You see that?
Two.
You got to be the new Wabi now. The now Wabi. You have to transform. You have to be locked and go up that mountain. You know what I'm saying? You can't lag behind. You got to be Noah and get on that boat. You know what I'm saying? You got to build the boat, shit. Noah was drunk in hell. He still built that boat. You ain't going to tell me you sober and can't build it. And perfect your genes. Genesis 6:9. It's the same game. What you got? Last question.
I can't remember what scroll it was. But Pop said something. It was a question like Q&A thing.
Uh-huh.
I want to say it was in what is still inside.
Okay.
It was one of the scrolls. Somebody asked, or the question was, how does one become a part of the 144,000?
Right.
And he said, become incorruptible. Is that why?
When did you read that?
Like last year.
That's interesting. I don't think I ever remember that saying that.
Yeah, it's in one of the scrolls. I think it's in Spirit of Soul. But it said the question was how do you become one?
Yeah, shapeshifter. Go to the book of Matthew chapter 17. Go to 17 verse 2.
Read 1 and 2.
All right.
Chapter 17. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them unto a high mountain.
Yeah.
And bringeth them unto a high mountain apart.
Come on.
And was transfigured
Before them. Come on.
His face did shine as the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and his raiment was white as the light.
Okay. What does this mean?
He
shapeshifted.
Yeah. Two.
Jesus is a shapeshifter. I told y'all that though. I think Jesus is one of the shapeshifters.
Right.
Right? And then they say they made somebody look like Jesus in the Quran surah that we just read.
Two.
Okay, then that means that they have the ability to shapeshift and cause for someone to shapeshift.
Right.
You see that?
Two.
Okay. These are master magicians, master technicians, master engineers, master. That's what we have. We're in the master part of all of this. So ain't no holding no hand. Remember, I told you this was happening back then. People start asking me questions, and I'm like, I answered all this stuff you talking about in the green light.
Right.
And you were there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They want to ask me this question. Now we at the purple light. People want to ask me questions like I was going to give them a sweet answer. I'm like, yo, you're in the light that said you got to be up here in the crown. Right. Every decision you making, you can't ask me to validate it for you.
You told me that.
Okay, was I lying?
No.
Because what you waiting on me to tell you? Yeah. This ain't going to be no soft bottom thing. This is, you got to go through the rough and rugged. I knew who was going to depart after I told them that. Because it was too difficult for them to face themselves.
When you said that, it made me like kind of ask what I actually want to know instead of just asking for confirmation and things like that.
Well, pretty questions.
Yeah, what you mean? Hold on, what you mean?
Ask the ugly. You ever heard of the ugly truth? What I mean by the ugly truth, which is really a beautiful thing, is that it's just straight to the point. It's not being decorated for you. Yeah. You don't do what you're supposed to do. You're going to be left behind. Simple. Nobody's going to let you on. You see? So a lot of people wanted to keep moving, but they didn't want to do the work. But they're out there in the world again. That's the truth. The truth is you missed the world. You see? And nobody had to move where I'm at. And first of all, people tried. And I said no. Right. So I'm saying I'm trying to run no cult in my house. People were trying to move in. I said, give it some time. Why? Because I knew within that time they were going to spoil themselves. You don't need to be here. You got stuff inwardly you haven't worked on. And then the world look more attractive to you because it's safe for you. You don't suffer in the world. You see what I'm saying? The world supports you when you living how they live and doing what they're doing and clubbing and having fun. The world supports that. They'll encourage it. You know, it's when the females get on the stand on the chair and table they start dancing, you see they praying? Yeah! You know what I'm saying? You know when the female be throwing the alcohol down their throat? You know the female say, yeah! You know people be beating each other ass in the streets when niggas be swinging on each other. You know the niggas saying, yeah! Go back through all our history. Growing up, especially in the hood. Weren't we always being cheered on to do the bullshit? Right. Beer pong. Go, 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 go. Hit the weed. Hey, that shit fire, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Right. They get the shoe and they say, yeah! They agree to the disagreeable shit. So they come around, they're not going to be able to stay long. So I'll tell people who stand up and down, they want to make it. Man, please. You keep bullshitting, you ain't going to make it. It's that simple. I don't know what you want me to do. Right. You got a big test coming on, you think you don't got to study. Then that test going to hit you. You're like, what the fuck do I do? You knew they had a study guide. You see? And that study guide might have been in human form. But it's a study guide, and it'll take you through little pieces. Say, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this. Nigga pick it up, and then sit it back down when we spark. Like, I didn't see them do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they'll pick up whatever else I said, and then as soon as I turn away, sit it back down. Like, it don't make a sound. It makes a sound when you put it back down. And they walk in, and then we get to the end. I said, where are you stuck at? Oh, I left it. You full of it.
It's not funny. I'm just.
It's hilarious.
But it's not like funny.
No, it is. It is because when I got a 26, you don't remember the story? When I was in high school, I got a 26 on my math test.
I don't think I heard this story.
Oh. And my teacher named Mr. Garner, white guy, walked over and handed me the test. I saw the number, I started laughing. He said, I don't see anything funny. What's funny? I said, no, I see something funny. I said, it's funny because I know that the only reason why I'm looking at this 26 is because I ain't studied. Right. The grade doesn't reflect me. It just reflects what I didn't do. That was my mentality. You were looking about stuck as you was just for a second. Because it's like, why would somebody laugh if they get 26 on a test? You see what I'm saying? Because I know myself, and I know if I would have studied, I would have made it. Right. That's hilarious. Nobody can ever really keep me back. Let me tell you something else hilarious. I keep it so clean with what I do that what they would have to come after me for is something they make up. Right. They have to lie to come after me. That's actually hilarious to me. You see what I'm saying? No matter what would happen from that point on, it's got to be funny because, like, yo, you couldn't come at me for truthful things. You had to deceive to do it. That means you didn't really come at me because you couldn't.
Right.
That's kind of funny. You see? And for me, it's hilarious. Not kind of funny to me. Well, some people will be kind of funny. Some people won't understand the joke. I get it. And they got a big punchline at the end. Yeah, oh, that's it then. So, one more if you got another one.
My question was about incorruptible thing.
Okay, go ahead.
But you kind of answered it though.
You asked it already?
Yeah, I was asking, is that why you did the incorruptible?
You're not going to really understand the answer, I don't think. And I don't be meaning to say that in a condescending way. I mean to say it because I didn't understand it. When I did Final Feast, when I did Operation Resurrection, let me tell you what I mean. You think I knew that they was going to put up them 3 statues for sale for $500? No. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know if you'll understand that it's not just me.
Right.
It's not. I said, use me. And I accept that the forces of nature chose me. I don't need them to clarify that. We got 3 of the forces outside.
2.
Around a tetrahedron. The transformation is already happening. Every time I walk out there, there's more being pulled. And you can't. You see what I'm saying? So I said incorruptible because there was nothing else to name it. Right. I said we're going to call this Operation Resurrection because there was nothing else to name it. This symbol was on the cover of my Operation Resurrection flyer. And then we bought the boat from a guy named Bobby, a white guy, came with a green shirt on. And his cash app was saying, the resurrection of the spiritual family. Months after I did the Operation Resurrection thing. And then I did Incorruptible as the last Telegram chat. You see? And the Incorruptible arrives. That's Sahu. Okay? Sahu is the incorruptible body. Go look it up. The light body that we just saw in Matthew 17. He was revealing to them that he already got that body. You see? So the ones who are raised incorruptible become Sahu. Sa is speaking about Orion. Masa said those who are of that right place, Orion. True. Masa is also where it's saying Messiah. Or anointed. Do you get what I'm explaining to you? So you already went through the waxing. So these statues showed up. You think I planned that? You know what I'm saying? You think I planned how the Sabaeans responded when they showed up? And how they were doing all the extra shit? If they were smart, they would have just got the statue, right? If they moved how we moved, they would have just got the statue. Let me tell you how I can tell you that. Because as soon as I found out what I did, just went and got the statues. Because that's what makes sense. Right? Exactly. And when I found out that they were too heavy, what I did, I said, I'll pay you extra just to deliver them. You want to know who would have did that? Him. He. Because he said he wanted to take everybody to Africa, show them Egypt. And because of all of the negative things that were happening at the time, killing people and all of that, and not wanting people to get to Africa and Egypt, he said, I couldn't bring you to Egypt, so I brought Egypt to you. He had sand imported from Africa. From Egypt. The sand. He said, yo, pick that up, bring it over here. I don't think you understand what I just said. I don't think you understand what I just said. You can go to the store and get some sand. No. He said, I want that over there. It's not just over there like in the other yard. It's in another country. He had them folks pick it up and walk over. And put it down and pick it up and walk back over and put it down. That's not a God. That's not a boss. You see what I'm saying? We can't get niggas to pick up attention from Africa and turn it over here. This nigga picked up Egypt and sat it down in the middle of Hunky Town. And the white folk wasn't supposed to say what in tarnation? They put pyramids and statues on it. And I used to see the statues, those are statues. Remember I said, my respect for what he did increased after what? It took 9 of us to move one of them. Yeah. and a crane. 9 niggas and a crane to move one of them statues. You see?
So
He the real deal. He the real deal. Anybody trying to play and kick it? No, you not. They can call yourself 19 keys all day. They don't have not one of them keys. Because you ain't open shit but your mouth. You see? So, with me knowing that, you see that little beach I built out there? They call like maybe $300 to put that shit together. Okay, we went to the home, or the Lowe's, and got some little bags, put it under there. See the little pyramid we put out there? It's just a little pyramid we put out there. Because I couldn't bring you to Tamaray. I had to bring Tamaray to you. You see? He made a mini Egypt. I made a mini Egypt. That's the best I can do. I put a little box in it so you don't notice that it's not a beach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is real. Now, I'm not saying I built Tamaray. Notice I said, how? It took me $300 to do that. That was a lot. So we were low on the budget for that. Because we had to build all this other stuff. We did all this other stuff. Pyramid took a lot. Listen to what I'm saying to you. It took $300 to put them bags out there. Maybe a little more. The beach on Tamaray is bigger than that, the front yard, the backyard, and down to the creek. I'm not exaggerating. You go look at it from the aerial view. That's not an exaggeration. Now, he could have went to Lowe's to get them bags. Right? It was easier. Play sand. It'll fit. No. Because he needs sand that rain, sleet, hail, snow is still going to be sand, nigga. Okay. He went to Africa to get enough sand, not fit in that little box, to fit in damn near 3 acres worth of a beach. That's the real deal. Only him. You tell me somebody else did something to what I just said. That's the real deal, family. You might look at me and say, yo, man, you the real deal. You just 7 and 3rd. Man, listen, that's the real deal. I'm just fire at being I'm like what do you call it, the promoter.
yeah.
I'm just a fire-ass promoter. Phase, you got 19 books, 20 books. Fire-ass promoter. Phase, you done did all this stuff. You got millions of views out here. You got people. I'm just a fire-ass promoter. You don't see that in all my shit. I'm still saying, that's the nigga. I'm dancing just to tell people, that's the nigga. Hey, that's him. Niggas say, yo, you can dance. I'm like, yo, that's the... And then you got niggas that's been around him talking about, he trying to be him. You got to be out your rabbit-ass mind, you know, trying to be him. That's him. I'm just a fire-ass promoter. You see? And it could be modesty because they don't tell him who I am. Only he can tell me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they see something I don't see. Because I just be doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when we did that final feast, they were like, you know, it could look wrong. It could be a wrong perception. What could be the wrong perception? It took about 13 elders to explain to me from different degrees what them folk were trying to say. For one of them to say, you look like the master. You moving like how he moved. So they thinking you trying to be him. I'm like, that's what the fuck these idiots is saying? Because you see me and you see my Father. When you see me, you see God. But bro, I don't have my own doctrine. This is his shit. Sound familiar? Okay. So it's just a beautiful thing, bro. You can't lose with Nuwapu. You can't stop Nuwapu. Nuwapu is a whole system. It's not one person. You can't stop Nuwapu, but watch Nuwapu stop you. You see? I've seen everything in the book. You think I'm scared? We ain't scared. But let me tell you, let me give you the line so you can know. Here go the movie line. Tell them, bring it on. Bring it on. We ain't afraid. We playing. And you're going to see me walking and just smiling and people going to be confused. Because it's like, bring it on. Let's play. I did. When my aunt came to pick me up from one of my hotel, I would go to a hotel room sometimes and spend some time. One of my aunt was the lip driver, came and picked me up and told me I speak the truth when I disappeared. She came to pick me up and listened to my music and said, you speak the truth. You may not understand what that means. If you do, Point is, my telling you speak truth means you can progress. And I told everybody, I said, that means that my resurrection will be able to be complete. I told everybody in November, the ones who was around me, people are witnessing this stuff. And then we went on. After the final feast, we went to Operation Resurrection, and then we just did the ceremony of the Supreme Redeemed. And then the last piece is what? Spirit of truth. Howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth, come, he ain't gonna speak of himself, he gonna speak of me, Isa. You see? He ain't gonna talk about his own doctrine, but he'll come, he'll speak something that comforts you, but you can't get too comfortable. You know what I mean? And then I gotta go through some of the things, but the point is, it's like, what else am I supposed to do? We have to play the game. But it's such a beautiful thing. When you have to, they have to lie to try to take you down. That's not, I ain't gonna be sitting here feeling bad about it. Because I can't find nothing. I was talking to my homie last night. I said, I can't figure out, I said, I can't see the downside of somebody trying to, you know what I'm saying, be a setup girl. I can't see the downside of somebody trying to lie to destroy or cause a collapse. I can't see the downside of that. Because like that, I don't know, it's just like art to me. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like art. It's like you did something so gracefully that it upset all kind of different groups of beings. That now the only thing they can get you with is try to crucify the innocent man. When they say, why when Pilate wiped his hand clean? Say, I interviewed him. When the wife comes out, I have nothing to do with him. I suffered many things, a great deal, in a dream because of this man you trying to crucify. I saw this happen to him. You see? The lady, when they had the hung jury, when they said she was crying, because she was like, he innocent. They said the judge went back there and intimidated her and made her change the verdict. You see? But she was saying, I don't want nothing to do with this. He innocent. You see? But they made him change it. So it's what you want to sign up for. It's going to keep going, degree after degree. Make sense?
So.
All right, anything else?
No.
All right. And so it is.